Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
Welcome everybody back once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Semifinals of the Middle Eastern region. I am Devin Pyrotechnics Young, and this gentleman on my right, he's on the left on this screen. It's a little bit of magic we call production. His name is Tom Pickering, but he's better known as We Free Men. How are you doing, Tom?
Here in the Ukraine, and there's a lot going on.
Summer's coming up, man, and it's not the only thing heating up right now. It is the action here. We started with 32 teams. We moved them down to 24, and we will go even further down into 16 before we are finally done with it all, before we get into the finals for the ME region. Of course, this is happening across the board with all of the other regions participating in the Club Open. It's just exciting because we're getting the best of all of our teams here.
Yeah, we're actually seeing full lobbies, which is insane. What's really kind of scary is the fact that there's only going to be one team from the MEA region that's going to make it all the way through to the actual finals and be able to fight up for that 2.5 million prize pool, which is insane. But we do have the potential best team, TRD, playing today, but another second button, it'll be the last one.
They're not the only one, man. We have a couple other teams we got to keep our eyes on. It's SWAT 69, of course, really up in the standings, representing Saudi Arabia. S&T, the other team with the 69 clan tag, they, of course, represent Iraq. Let's take a look, though, at the tournament rules and how it all goes. Just as a refresher for you all, it is all about the placement here at the PMCO. 30 points are awarded to the top finisher.
So at first place, like you said, that 30 points is really important because for each kill, you only get 1 point. So although that is awesome, but it's so much more important to get that high placement. Second place, 22, third place onwards from there. But we'll see. Hope you guys are enjoying.
That is really distracting, by the way. It's just, it's not even the visual, it's the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Back and forth.
They should put that in instead. I think I like your version better. But yeah, what you saw really quickly on the screen, we had all of our teams kind of flashing up.
Yeah.
Most of those teams are still involved in the tournament, but it has gone from 32 to 24. There's, of course, only 3 groups left. If you missed any of that action, of course, we have all of the historical information. You can, of course, catch a lot of our, not just VODs, but also the highlight reels on our YouTube channel. I'll get into that in a little bit because we're already in the game. We're on Vikendi. This is fast.
We are already in a little bit faster than I would have expected, but look at that name above the plane. That is going to be Mr. Hackshot. Hopefully you get some shots in today, but that plane is going to be rather dangerous for a lot of the teams that play a little bit low down towards Dino Park. I know Snap and RBK have played there before, but luckily RBK aren't playing today.
I want to see some more Dino Park.
Dino Park. I managed to finish watching Jurassic Park on the plane.
Did you?
Decent
so you
film.
are actually like very ready for Dino Park.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we won't get it here today because we have a very central circle as the teams drop out. Castle kind of sitting right in the middle of it.
I mean, you've got to want that castle circle. And we actually see control from 7T going over towards castle area. And it's actually a pretty decent place to loot. And I know there's been a couple of changes, and we are on the latest update. So it's actually the Scorpion 9mm pistol, automated pistol in the game, which is actually pretty important to keep an eye out. It's better than a pistol, but it's worse than SMG. So let's see if it does get used out today. It'd be interesting.
So keep your eyes peeled for the Scorpion if it does come out and about. And it is interesting having a couple changes come through in the course of the tournament, but these are the teams that have been practicing for quite some time. We're getting to see more of them. We've been learning more about their styles. It's a really good spread here on the map, actually, coming out on Vikendi for Game 1. Now, we didn't talk about this. There'll only be one Vikendi today. We'll, of course, have a Miramar after this and double Erangels, as has been the case. But, Tom, talk to me about the way the teams are split here.
Oh, well, it's just disappeared off the map view, so it's going to be a bit harder. But luckily, we're actually seeing a lot more of a spread across all the teams rather than them being all bunched together and fighting off. I mean, this is, I think, first time we've not really seen an early firefight in these in this tournament for the ME region. They usually go out very early. I mean, talking of which, you might see TRD fight against SWAT 69 here, but we might see them run away in the case. And, I mean, this is actually going to be LTK. I do want to mention them. So we actually saw them come in and win 2 games last week on the first day, which was really impressive. They had a really good time of it, but then they kind of dropped off.
Yeah, and it's interesting because LTK did their best work when TRD had their worst day. Like, that was day 1 of the semifinals. We were thinking, you know what? Maybe TRD, just not up to that same level. We found it a little bit later. The team hadn't really been practicing together all week. They started getting it together on the final wrangle and a 5th place finish. But it really just didn't pan out for them. And then the next day, they went back to dominating. So we still expect TRD to be one of those incredibly strong teams. It looks like it's S&T facing down across the opposite side, and they are ceding ground to them, which doesn't surprise me too much considering how good this squad is, especially in compound-to-compound fights.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be so careful trying to fight up against them. When they take control of that whole area, or the compound, not just the buildings, they tend to sort of take over a whole area, unlike teams like 46 Loot who do take over it. And actually, Devin's just pointed out to me, we do actually have a stand-in, a substitute for TRD.
I think it's actually a rename. It's Hicks-U, he's just dropped the U.
Oh, he's dropped the... You know what, I think it's because of the way I've been saying it. I think he
yeah, we'll just call him Hicksy. I guess so.
I do know that there is actually currently one bug, I think, in the game where the doors don't always render for people.
Sometimes they just...
Yeah, so guys, if you do see players playing a little bit weird around doors, that may well be why. But, I mean, TRD, we talked about them. They dropped off the face of the earth, and then we kind of saw a bit of a power struggle because there wasn't that sort of top dog, that leader at the top of the board. And at the moment, I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, AM are currently dominating. They're not playing today, but we will see them come back in tomorrow. Yeah,
that's a team in Group C, of course. This is only A and B fighting off against each other. Speaking of fights, we did have a couple of early ones. This is pretty typical for the ME region. It is the MBZ Falcons facing off against the likes of LTK. And it could be trouble for the LTK side. It looks like Slom does get knocked early on by Los Kev. Script even leaning out this window here, and it's a good spread out from the Falcons.
I'm going to have to be careful, and that is that a wipe, or is that just a finish?
Yeah, well, LTK only loaded in with 3, so a little bit unfortunate for them, and it looks like everybody else had a full squad. But that is an early fight and out, so that's a 16th place finish for LTK. And you mentioned how we saw really good performance out of them on day 1 of the semis, but they've kind of been missing ever since. Yeah, it'd be good to be able to see their return, but it's potentially going to be a little bit late coming into this because this is obviously going to be the final weekend where we then drop down to 16 teams, and if they're outside that bubble, then it's a little bit too late, and they're going to have to go home. So we'll see where they do end up going on there. So they go out in 16th place
obviously only 3 people, but that was a full wipe from MBZ coming in. One of the teams that we have seen play a lot more passive in the past. Talking about a player that's not very passive, and we did see him do a massive screw-up last week.
Maybe he should have been paying a little bit more attention. Yeah, Galiko on Nox. This team, we applauded them for having such great strategy, but Galiko decided to actually stay in a compound while his team went away from it and ceded ground, and then he just jumped out the window and got shot by, I think it was like AM or something that had surrounded them, and it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I think it was SNT or SWAT 69, because that's one reason
right.
why they managed to pop up and then get the like a bunch of kills. But yeah, he jumped out. He'd originally knocked out a player of the mutant, which was fantastic. But then he decided to jump out the window, which was just a massive mistake. He had no armor, no body armor, nothing. So he either needed to run away straight away or stay. We are seeing him run again, and obviously he has a level 3 helmet, which you can get on the spawn here on Vikendi. Obviously the only map you can do that on. Arguably a little bit of a to and fro on it between the pros, whether they actually like that or not. Most people don't, because it's a little bit overpowered, but we'll see how they perform here. So he's a little bit spread away from his group, but he is rejoining them now.
It looked like they got the better of AXT, though, too. The 2 Israeli squads kind of facing each other down across the frozen lake, and AXT decided to back away. They were one of the teams we wanted to watch because, surprisingly, we found that AXT were in the bubble situation where they were so dominant during the course of the group stages. We saw them really pull off some incredible strategic play, but last week on Erangel, it kind of fell off a little bit.
I mean, we kind of saw a shift in power dynamics, and I think we saw that affect everyone. With 7T or 7 Reef team and TRD really not performing, I think that really shook everyone. They're like, okay, hang on a minute. Who's the top dog? Who do we actually have to respect and fear? So everyone was fighting for that, and I think amongst that, a lot of teams kind of got confused.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and of course, all of these squads only have 8 more rounds to play, including this one here on Vikendi, before we do get down to that final 16 to see who will be the regional finalists for the Middle East. And well, so far so good for everybody not named LTK to kick things off, but this is one of those big differences. I know we see at least in some bigger player-based regions like India, for instance, we have these teams that never fight until the circle forces them to. In ME, it's a little different. There's always a couple of teams that face down each other, especially on these maps like Vikendi. Yeah,
I mean, there's like Rush to Crush, who tend to see, if they see someone, it's almost like they're a shark and they've tasted blood, which is also apparently not real. But apparently if they taste blood, they smell blood.
Yeah.
Not taste blood. They charge.
They go for tasting the blood. That's how that works.
They smell blood, they go for it. And that's pretty much Rush to Crush. They don't do it with a second thought. They're just like, ooh, fight. Let's go. And 50%, I'd probably say like 75% of the time it's to their demise.
Yeah, but it's interesting because they started really hot. Remember on that first Vikendi in the group stages, their first match for the entire region. And they got like a second place finish. They were looking great. But you're right, it is like not so much of a coin flip as a dice roll with disadvantage.
That was actually quite literally 3 weeks ago.
Fans there. Yeah,
so
actually on the day.
Yeah.
Man, feels like it was longer. It's been a really good couple of weeks, man. This whole tournament has been fantastic. You've been great to work with too, by the way.
You too, mate. It's been beautiful, and hopefully everyone has been able to enjoy Mr. Devon and his beautiful casting.
Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom. Good night, Mr. Tom, for any of those UK users who recognize that.
That one's going to whoosh me pretty hard, but maybe we should get back to talking about the game at hand here because we do have L&D and HeadHunterrs facing off. And L&D have definitely been one of the better squads by comparison. They have a clutch player by the name of Faker. Funny enough, the game I used to commentate before this also had a very similar player for those of you. Shout out to the old school League of Legends fans. But HeadHunterr have been falling off. We've had a couple of stand-up performances from them based on placement, but they just can't seem to fight it out.
Yeah, I mean, I placed them better than IK and that of 963, but I wouldn't say that much higher because they tend to kind of just fall off. They don't have the firepower and aim. We've seen them multiple times just fail aiming.
Faker, that's the nade down onto Mr. Relax. Looks like he didn't quite have the angle he was looking for, the bounce away. All the same, though, L&D definitely one of those better squads. Shouldn't be too surprised to see them crack into the top 16, of course.
Yeah.
Looks like they're not fully geared up.
We've not actually seen much of a fight around this area before because it's quite hilly in regards to they have got the sort of vertical advantage up here on this sort of single plateau on this house. And it seems like that grenade did do a little bit of damage to the HeadHunterrs. I think HeadHunterrs would be best to just run away from the situation, but we have noticed in the past that they kind of get single-track minded, where they kind of see the blood and they kind of stay in the same position, unlike Rush to Crush, who just rush. Like,
they're the defensive version, right? Like, they do get very tunnel vision.
They stay still.
Yeah.
You know, like that fight, flight, or like freeze. They freeze and they shoot, and that's pretty much what they do.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't really help you to play possum in this kind of game.
No.
Mr. Relax is going to be hiding behind the smoke himself, of course, what we're looking at right now. on this part of the map. It is over by Hot Springs, I believe.
Right. This is a really like unplayed sort of area, especially in the last couple of weeks. We've not actually seen this part of the map have a circle on it at all. I mean, it's not going to land here in the future because we can see the next circle's coming in and it's cutting off most of Hot Springs. But it's interesting to see sort of different areas of this map played because it does vary quite a bit. But I don't think there's going to be too much of a firefight here. I think L&D will probably just move away from it. But it does look like they are trying to trap them in here and gatekeep them.
Well, looks like HeadHunterr have a couple of players inside of a vehicle, so that's Julius and Mr. Relax, you can see. So they might be splitting off, and this is something we have seen HeadHunterr do sometimes.
Yeah.
Not a full evacuation, but just like a partial one where like, all right, we know we can't really fight against these teams, but what we might be able to do is separate, split the attention. A couple people will get away, and at the very least, if it comes down to it, maybe we can take a couple with us.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to doing that split, it's not really worked out for them too much in the past, so I'd hope they don't do the split. I prefer them to stay as a powerhouse in 2 different vehicles and go for that rotation into a safer place. And hopefully they do realize that L&D are trying to gatekeep them. Yeah. And it does look like they are going to go for that. Hopefully they've learned a little bit from it. I know TRD asked me a bunch of questions. And guys, if you are listening, if you're playing, you're watching this VOD, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter or any other platform and ask us any questions.
Always happy to talk to the players for sure. We've definitely heard a little bit from Hixie as you know, he's been one of the players on the TRD side to reach out and just give us a few stories about the team. But another team I definitely want to know more about and to talk to is this team, 7 Reef. They're a team that has more relied on clutch performances, especially the likes of Reef on Erangel, than as a full squad. We've seen them falling off over the course of the playoffs. Of like our big 4 that we talk about, TRD, SWAT69, S&T, and them, they're definitively the weakest at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, when you say that, obviously down to those clutch moments, we did actually find out what the Kryptonite is, and it's apparently one of the worst teams, and that's a team that goes by the name of 963, who
beats them in weird. I mean, that. Do you really think that should have been an outlier though, man? That felt like such a weird moment on Erangel.
It was not a right moment. So what basically happened is 7T crashed into a compound and broke the cardinal rule of using one vehicle to do so. So when they crashed, 2 of them got down and out, and then 2 of them left over to try and recover. And Reef was left in a clutch situation. Didn't happen. So I want to see him perform a lot better this time around, and the rest of his team. We have seen the rest of his team do pretty well. One of the names that comes to mind, Control, he has actually rushed out a little bit more compared to the other teammates. He has that a little bit more aggressive style to him, whereas all the others tend to play a little bit more passive and going for the clutches.
Yeah, kind of ironic given the name, but yeah, we'll see if 7T can come up clutch in this game. We did see what looked like the beginnings of potentially a fight happening with S&P, who then immediately recognized who they were dealing with. They backed away at that moment. If they got close enough to see it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to, like, if you come across one of these teams, you definitely want to be able to back away.
Speaking of teams to come across and back away from, it's S&T in a compound. That's a dangerous proposition right there.
I mean, they're insane. I mean, they got so many kills last week. It was just insane. It'd be really interesting to be able to compare them. But, I mean, them and SWAT69, we saw them come in. They missed the first game of the first week of groups. And then they came back and really just smashed it. But, I mean, they're currently sitting on 66 kills in the semifinals after 8 games, which is exactly the same amount they got in group stage.
And it's exactly the same amount as SWAT69 have picked up as well. So 66 kills between both of the 69 clan tag members. We've kind of been bigging this up as like the battle of the clan tags just a little bit, but it's crazy. And the crazy thing for SWAT69, which we will see in these games today, haven't flashed on them just yet, is that actually beat their record in the group stages where they got 49 kills. 20 of them were in one game too.
And, I mean, that was the highest kill score, was 20 kills in one game, but that was actually then beaten by MEA, who managed to get a massive 21 kills.
Oh, they hulked out on the final day, man. They were insane. But there's so many good teams still left at this tournament right now, and I cannot wait to see who our final 16 are for sure. We will see a couple of teams taking some advanced positions across these rivers. Nox, AXT, you can see TRD have kind of joined in as well. And it's just calm and quiet on the Vikendi front for the time being because no one's been forced to fight it out. This is more to what we're used to seeing on maps like Erangel where there's much bigger areas, but good positions taken up by some of our top contenders.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to see a little bit more from SNP. We did see them perform before, and here's Zero. Definitely one of the highest damage members from the group stage and also from the semifinals.
You know why they call him Zero, Tom?
Why?
Because he needs exactly that much time before he can line up a shot. This guy is an insane sniper, and we were seeing it in the group stages. I believe you were pointing out some of his stats to me just while we were doing the prep earlier today. This guy had more headshots than just about anybody else in the whole event, and he was also the dedicated AWM player.
Yeah, so I think there's 4 people with 7 headshot kills across the whole of the group stage, and he was one of them. And it's definitely worthwhile, but Firefight coming out and Hicks down.
Yeah, already starting these off, and you can see Morzy on the Nox side also downed as well. So honestly, you pity just about anybody who has to go up against TRD in some of these early firefights. The only time a team has done that and lived was that one exception on Crates a couple of weeks ago where they got taken out in the 16th place, but that has been an absolute outlier. Hixie is pretty far down, though. Looks like he's gotten back up to his feet, but low on the health bars.
Yeah, I mean, Nox have also recovered their teammates, so let's see what ends up going out of that one. But you know what? I think Nox could recover from this, and that kind of scares me because TRD are a really good team, but Nox are also, I think, can rival them, especially when they're taking compounds. But let's see what goes on from here.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? Nox are definitely a team that really plays well strategically. They know how to breach. They know when to back away and seed ground. And Hackshot gets dropped down by Galiko. What a brilliant shot. Hackshot had no idea he was there.
That was a really well played, and this is the kind of shots and plays you can do whilst you have that third-person visibility.
That's another thing. We don't often talk about it so much in PUBG Mobile comparatively, but the third-person perspective definitely allows for a wider range of things, and especially with regards to peeking.
Yeah, some people argue that it's not best, but on mobile, I think it kind of makes more sense to be able to have that third person.
You've got less room to look around on the screen, too. You're only playing on phones.
Yeah, and talking about on phones, Kevin is the IGL of this team on the phones, and he's actually done a pretty good job. We did go a little bit brutal on him, saying that he wasn't a very good player, or getting he was the worst player on the best team. Not a bad player, but worst on the best team.
Yeah, well, he's definitely stepped it up in the clutch for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that one of the reasons for that is because he's focused on trying to tell these guys where to go and what to do. So his mind is focused on something completely different compared to someone like Hitchi, who's just a fragger, which is what they told me.
Speaking of frags, Galiko still looking to send a couple nades flying as they tried to get another knock onto one of the TRD members. Hackshot does get picked back up by his teammates. Meanwhile, Purge from IQM continuing onto the likes of S&T, who really didn't know what hit him. So there's a couple fights happening in a couple different parts of the map here.
So it'll be interesting to see where IQM are, because they famously have done much better when they've been split up across the whole map, when they've done one player to the west, one player to the east, one to the north, and one to the south. Another
player from S&T gets dropped. Narcos gets taken down by Mustafa99, and that is actually a huge surprise for me. S&P involved in a fight with LND across the way, and we're already reduced down to 14 teams, and I believe that's S&T actually out of there.
That's insane. I mean, one of the teams we didn't expect to go out this early.
Need to confirm that, too, because we don't have the notification. It could have been Snap because they were losing members, too. But based on the kill feeds, I think S&T just got dropped.
Yeah, I mean, due to that being a headshot, I'm fairly certain it was them going out. And this is going to be quite an interesting position coming out from Nox. So they've split across two different buildings, and they've got quite a wide angle on TRD. TRD could loop back around with two of their members towards the left-hand side of the screen and come back in from behind, but that's a big risk, especially when a couple of players have already lost their helmets and they need to recover their health.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, behind them, we do have SMP sneaking up in the background, and Thanos is in the game today.
Thanos is indeed. So that does answer my query. SMP still have a few members alive at the very least. It looks like Sniper's back in. That's the character with the Chinese symbols for the name, if you were wondering. And now it looks like we'll see where the next circle shrinks in. We hadn't talked about it last time. It went a little further to the north and mostly centered here on Podovosto. And we'll see if that continues to be the case.
There's going to be a massive fight coming up from the south, and this is interesting. I'm fairly certain this should go on the mountainside.
There's a lot of frozen lake happening there. I love that skin on the gun, by the way. Big old chicken staring down the sights.
We need stuff like that in every game.
Thanos just took out King, and he got dropped by Drugs as well. That continued fight with LND. Still a couple members remaining. It looks like Thanos does get taken out by Faker, but you can see Sheriff still up, Sniper still alive. One of the better players on that team. It looks like it's just Sniper now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to be able to survive this. He should ideally get away, but I don't think they're going to allow him to do that because they should have view on his shed. But it does look like he's going to try to run and hide. And this is kind of reminds me of what TRD were doing. They actually backed away from that fight. They knew they can't go out this early because they're not secure yet. None of these teams are secure. There's still a small chance that...
There's still 8 games left to play, right? Yeah. Everyone's only played half their rounds so far.
So, I mean, that was the M249 falling out of the package. Probably one of the most damaging guns. And I guess not damaging guns, but most useful and clutch-worthy when it comes to the games. We saw Hixie actually get 4 kills with it against 46 loot on Vikendi last week, which was insane. He clutched it against them and also did another clutch in a 1v4. I think it was a 1v2 when the rest of his teammates were downed. So it's really useful. 100 bullets, high firepower, high fire rate.
I mean, you gotta love it. It lets you spray and pray at the same time. It's a very efficient gun for the certainty. We will see the last remaining member of S&P just playing for the hiding. That is going to be Sniper. Yeah, not the best gear for him as well. So maybe he can pick somebody off, but this is going to be a bit of a tough spot right now, especially if people roll up on him.
Yeah, especially as he's holding out his micro Uzi. That kind of indicates he hasn't got any ammo.
That's
for
what I
his
mean.
M4.
Like he's been wielding that thing the entire game. Every time we flash his perspective, so that tells me that's the only gun he's got is the micro Uzi, and yeah, that's a bit of a yikes.
Yeah, it was. Talking about like sort of M4s, we actually saw Galiko, sort of the M4 Uzi combo. We saw Galiko. He has actually a double barrel shotgun and also the.
Oh, wow, I actually missed that.
Yeah, so he's actually got an AR and the shotgun combo, and that's actually very original of sort of Asian players back when they used to play third person mostly.
Right.
It's because you can obviously predict where people are, so when you take the double shots, it's a lot easier. There's a few other reasons to be able to use it, and the double shotgun is really useful and does a lot of damage, especially if you have the right equipment on it. So I really do hope he keeps it. Nonetheless, circle coming in. Where's it going to go? I'm going to go left.
All right, well, drum roll, please. It looks like it's going to be to the right. Survey says denied. The SMP's last remaining member still in there as well, and it's a quick shift up, and we'll see where the rest of these teams come through. Something to keep in mind, as there's still 14 squads left alive, and I think they're about to drop a lot faster. Here's Rush to Crush actually playing very safe. That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, Devin, we're 20 minutes in, and there's 14 teams.
Yeah, this week is not like the others, Tom.
Yeah,
I think this is an evolution of the meta.
Yeah, guys and girls, I just want to say, this is not how we've been seeing these guys play. They've definitely got a lot better. Hopefully they've gone through and reviewed
Well, they've had a week off, right? Everyone's been
Yeah.
taking it, not taking it easy. They've definitely been practicing for these matches because there are only 8 remaining. And remember, the top 16 out of 24 will continue on to the regional finals, but everybody else has to go home, unfortunately, or I guess since they're playing from there, stay home.
I mean, you have your mobile phone. You can
Technically,
play
you could be
anywhere.
playing yeah, I mean, they could be on the subway. Oh, Script just gets blown to pieces by Tomb. As Purge could see it off in the distance, man, that was a cool visual for sure.
I do know that one of the Indian players was just on holiday playing in this tournament, by the way.
I mean, you can. Again, it's all on mobile. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to have your PC with you.
Oh,
King does get
hello.
dropped down by Hixie from TRD. Still 14 teams alive. Remember, Snap did not go out with 1 player remaining.
And we have seen teams like that with one player actually get up into the top 5. And that makes all the difference. Even top 8 is so different.
And oftentimes it's IQM. What's funny is they're actually
Yeah.
playing well as a team. We're seeing Rush to Crush do the same thing. We might be in for a very different set of teams today than what we've been used to. UN, of course, playing nice and split there, and this is going to be a great finish. I can already feel it, as you can see Mustafa 99 getting dropped down by Falastine from MEA. MEA we hadn't even talked about today, but they're definitely a team not to be trifled with based on the last couple performances. Guns will get the finishing blow on Mustafa.
What is going on? So we actually just saw 2 members of MBZ die to the blue. That's a little bit embarrassing. They have to be a little bit better than that, but we'll see what goes on here. Purge is just going to be high and below the bridge. IK, another one of the sort of lower-tier teams that we've seen perform not so great, is actually hiding on the bridge as well on one of the arches, and this is quite an interesting way to
MBZ
play.
are losing everyone to the play zone. I know they like playing outside the circle,
It's not the first time we've seen this.
but yeah, this is really bizarre because normally they're pretty good at actually making tracks fast enough, but they've just lost a handful of players outside the blue there without even seeing them really engage in a lot of firefights. Everybody's coming into this final circle, or excuse me, it's not the final circle, but everybody's coming into a incredibly small circle, and here's the next one. We might have another lake finish.
We have 2, 3, 4, 5 potential teams who are sitting inside this circle out of the 14 totals. That's 9 teams that are going to have to rotate hard.
I'm gearing up my throat right now, man. This is going to be a lot of nonstop action in the next few minutes.
Hard and fast, just the way Devin likes it. So we'll see what goes through here. But Palat, a fantastic player we've seen perform in the past. And MBZ.
Looks like it's into it right now. 17 starting to find the fight on one of the last remaining members of MBZ. And that's going to be Boom. And he goes Boom down in 14th place.
Yeah, and that was 17 able to get it. Sniper's actually going to be joining in potentially. But
Reef's
Kevin.
headshot. Reef's taken out. That's actually a steal away by Sniper right there, although he is going to get eliminated pretty soon. But Fazah gets down, gets eliminated. Somehow Sniper manages to turn it, clutch around. And we are just into the beginning, my friend.
He actually has the ammo for the M4, and it makes all the difference. You can't do that with that gun. But Faker actually has the M249. That's what I want to talk about.
Bray is managing to get him down there. That's S&T coming up pretty big here as we see the last remaining member of S&P still trying to stay alive as best he can. Drugs getting dropped down by Z8R8 from SWAT 69, or excuse me. Yeah, it is SWAT 69.
Yep.
They're still up in this one. I got my 69 clan tags mixed around again. Ray being the clutch player for that side. Going to take the forward position, looking to move in onto L&D territory.
They need to do this as well because there's only going to be a limited amount of teams being able to get in here. So they're
Good
chucking in
Molotov.
chucking in the fires here, trying to cut off the exit points.
Yeah, here comes Ray. Ooh, Hixie actually gets down. Master does as well by Guns. The MEA is coming in hot right now. Ray going for the breach, solo into the house, see if he can find anything. Right now, he's actually just running on through.
I think this is the best choice, just running past and just forget about this team, because you need to get inside the circle. It's coming and it will knock you down.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at the mini-map as it goes. Everybody making a mad dash for it at this point. We're not even watching PUBG Mobile. You know what we're watching right now? It is a marathon.
So much so. Hopefully, Abbas, one of the best performing players. Actually, this is the two best players on MEA are left standing on their side. So hopefully, they can actually retain their performance going into this map, into
Facing
this
down
last part.
all of UN, but we have seen them perform better in the main. Wasim is actually still up, so they've split off here as Rawan hiding near the blue right now. Everybody on MEA is actually still up and available. Drugs gets killed by, or knocked by the play zone, I should say. Looks like he'll go out pretty soon. Meanwhile, Clown getting knocked down by one of the members of HeadHunterr. Still managed to stay alive in this one with 13 squads up and available, but I think that's about to change. Abbas gets knocked, taken out by Control. Good headshot there. Demon even coming in to take some of the HeadHunterr's members out, and it's just an all-out firefight.
And I think that's actually 70 out in 13th place, if I'm right in saying, or
no, still a chance.
Still got it. Okay,
still a chance in this one, but it looks like they did lose a couple of members there, so that might change very quickly at the moment. Still 13 teams up, but who is going to be the next one to drop right now? You can see L&D starting to lose a lot of members here. However, they're not the only ones. AXT losing Palat. That's going to be a knockdown, however, not a finisher. And that kill feed's just going to keep going. That's going to be it. It's IK that get finished off
in 13th place, and we're going to be seeing IK trying to struggle to stay alive as Guns are looking to pound them, rather, and now HeadHunterrs are doing some damage back over towards Executors, and they're actually going to be chucking in the Molotovs to try and finish them.
Yeah, so it is IK that are still up. It is going to be AXT that got dropped out a little early there. Kevin getting knocked as well. So TRD having a hard time fighting out some of this chaos at the moment. 12 teams available. That means there's 35 players alive in an incredibly small area. There's smokes flying everywhere. Kramik getting dropped down by Guns. He just sprays, but he can't quite get the finishing blow.
He's actually, so he's still laying down on the ground there trying to heal up, but he's still got to move a little bit of a distance, I think. Oh, no, so they are inside the circle. And they've actually got a dominant part of it with all things considered, and they're safe behind them to the blue.
Yeah, so many teams are fighting outside this next circle because it's just moved in so quickly, and everybody's been taking it nice and easy, nice and slow. Well, now is no longer the chance to do that. Tomb gets put inside of one for sure. Hixie coming up with the 2 knocks onto Nox members. Everybody's just trying to play for the clutch here, and in this chaos, anybody can take the round, but right now it does look like it favors the MEA. Wolf going to get taken out by Z8R8 from SWAT 6-9. AXC still do have 1 member remaining, but we do see somebody going out. I don't know who that 12th place team is going to be.
And TRD finally lose a member this far in. It's actually very surprising. And so this whole part, I think, is actually covered in ice, so they can get across this river just by walking. But it's going to be difficult because it's going to be trial by fire, and that fire will be SWAT 6-9, and they're such a dangerous team.
It's like it's coming. HeadHunterrs, the fire is opened up onto them, and Z8R8 is going to be the one taking the shots already, looking to take HeadHunterr out in 10th place. And they're a little battered and bruised, but they're remaining nonetheless.
Yeah, TRD really needs to be able to push into this.
Z8R8, he thought he was safe trying to take those pain pills. Didn't happen, though. It looks like AXT's Lord is going to go out, and that will be an 11th place finish for AXT. And we just keep on going. Fire's down.
TRD are going to be doing some damage, knock down Olaz from Nox, and they're going to be inside the blue.
Yeah, it's Orlez.
Oh, no, they're not.
Like Kevin.
They're inside it. The camera was a little bit weird, but SWAT 6-9, they're on fire.
Moha knows he's going to be in trouble there, so he's gone out, and all of a sudden we've just lost 3 teams in the blink of an eye, and it looks like that was HeadHunterrs that actually turned it on here. Snap. They still have their member remaining, but it looks like that's finally going to be the finishing blow here, so that should be going out in 8th place as SNP. Talk about lasting a long time. And everyone's just running backs to the blue, trying to run and gun as they go. The HeadHunterrs members starting to lose right now, but it's going to be Morzy that gets knocked down by the blue. Down to 5 teams. All of a sudden, 15 players remaining. Let's just take stock of this. It's MEA, it's TRD, it's IK, it's UN, and it's absolute chaos here, Tom.
How are TRD still alive right now? And I think that question is about to get answered because the grenades and smokes are going out.
Yeah, Rush to Crush, they lose Nasser as well to some of the IK members before they get dropped down, and there's almost nowhere to go if you're TRD. Hixie and Hackshot are going to have to make a final stand here as Kevin has already moved around the side, but Guns has his sights trained on the rest of the TRD side. Down to 4 teams in this game. Vikendi coming down to the wire.
It's going to be so difficult for them to be able to survive from this situation. They've got teams all around them.
Kevin's
spraying
down.
And praying. Kevin, the IGL, going to have to pray
boy.
that his teammates can help.
MEA have realized who they're dealing with right now, and they're trying to take them out of the picture to bump their own chances up a little bit more. Falastein's actually going to go in rushing here. Tiny little position for TRD to go, but they are dangerous when cornered. Backed against the wall. Hackshot going to get dropped down. The spray! Falastein gets dropped, but that's the finishing blow, and it's going to be a 4th place finish for TRD.
One insane play coming out from MEA. They did go for that push. They did suffer the consequences, but they're going to be able to recover from it and hopefully push on through. So they're going to be down to one member, and he's going to be reviving.
So with 3 squads, MEA, UN, and IK. 2 of those teams I would not have guessed, and UN have all 4 up.
That's insane. I mean, the thing is, like, UN didn't actually even try to get in any on those fights. They're just sitting in this barn because it's very difficult for them to be able to actually get any angles.
You sit back, relax, wait for everyone to come to you. If you've got the positioning, now it looks like they are going to be moving towards the IK members. Molotov's out. Hoger realizes it's going to get a little hot under the collar right there as he starts taking damage, trying to bandage up as fast as he can, and he's just going to get knocked down. There's nothing he can do.
What a play coming out from the Molotovs and IK. Only have one member standing, and he's going to have to run in right now.
Yeah, I don't know if Kremek can do it right now. They're just kind of using it as bait here. Bonover does get dropped down, though. That's going to be guns from MEA, and I really do think this favors the Middle East Assassins right now, trying to come up with the final shots to get that chicken dinner. It's Kremek dropped down. We're down to 2 teams.
This is insane that they're going to be able to get these angles, get these frags, and hopefully get the final killing blows here as we see them pushing against UN.
They got 2 knocks. It looks like it might be a little bit more, but there's going to be some strength in numbers here as MEA try to breach in for the final play. Wasim in the doorway. He takes down Master, and that's going to be it. ME Assassins with the win.
Well, GG, well played coming out from them. So they're going to be picking up a good amount of kills of 11. Second place is going to be UN with 4 kills. Third with none is going to be IK. But guys, what a game coming out from that.
That was
14 teams.
an insane game.
14 teams left alive at the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, you know, honestly, time was starting to get away from me there because until you pointed out, I was like, wait a minute, there's no way that much time has passed. And it really had. And then the chaos happened, and when you look at it, we saw some really unexpected performances. But I think when it comes down to it, in the clutch moments, MEA, a little bit more seasoned in that regard, and there's a reason why we saw them performing so well towards the very end of the group stages when they needed to make up some points to qualify. They ended up getting into it. Let's roll into the highlights. There won't be a lot in the very beginning, but man, did things heat up after that.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple of teams who face a little bit of damage here, including LTK, who do go on fire from MBZ, who do get the wipe as well.
Yeah, MBZ definitely coming up good in the beginning. Of course, we saw them go out to the play zone later. Not entirely sure what was happening here. TRD started out by fighting up against the Nox side, and you can see that timer ticking 25, almost 26 minutes before all these highlights really began as AXT started losing members left and right. Z8, all right, he thought he had headhunters, but he was the one being headhunted, as unfortunately him and Mohawk can't really get outside of the lake as he just tries to heal up, gets capped once again by the BAP, and that was going to be it. Now Nox turns it around, looking for some extra damage there. Ben and Morsey dropping down, and this is where MEA clean up TRD, and that was a brilliant play.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be able to potentially go another way, but it was not meant to be. But that shot through that window from Guns was a fantastic play, and they managed to push in, get an extra kill on the last member of IK, and then all they had to do was clean up house from UN.
I'm really glad that we got to see that from the MEA perspective because we were watching from the inside looking out, and here is the scoreboard as of that last result. IK end up in 4th place based on points. Of course, this is not just where the positions were of the teams. It's also with the number of frags they got. MEA with 11 kills to their name. Man, that was good.
Yeah, I mean, TLD, though, they do manage to get 7 kills, which does push them up. Instead of dropping a little bit lower, they obviously got more kills, so they got more points than IK, even without getting that same position. So I have to give them props for that, being able to come into this. And they weren't performing at Folly, but at the same time, the circle was really damaging to them. UN, on the other hand, I think they really slept on that chance to be able to get that win.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest surprise for me is that apart from TRD, none of the teams we really wanted to talk about on the top of the standings really made it into the top 5 for today so far. That's SWAT 6-9, that's S&T, and 7T. They didn't quite make it out. But enough about them. Let's compare our winners and our second place. It is going to be the ME Assassins and United Nation. Honestly, UN had a great round, but you really can't compare to what MEA just did.
Yeah, I mean, what they got was a really good sort of position, and then after that, they kind of went a bit flat. They weren't able to really finish off that of IK. They did do a little bit of damage, but that's kind of like saying, oh, I'm going to go fight that puppy, and that they didn't even manage to really do that successfully.
Who fights a puppy?
Exactly. Apparently UN.
It's a bad idea.
And they got punished by it. And I mean,
no
just
winning outcome.
Yeah, I mean, MEA really did just punish them throughout that last game. And you can even just look at this. Guns getting 4 kills, but double that in damage. Whereas Master on UN got 50.
And that was right at the very end when he managed to clip somebody. And that's the thing is, UN, you mentioned it at the very end of that game. They weren't really going for the fight. They were trying to play it all positional. And obviously, when you haven't been fighting, you're not confident in your fight. If someone's breaching on you, unless you're a god at defending, it's just not going to happen for you.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, MEA are just so aggressive in how they play, and they've got the aim. I mean, we saw Guns there shoot through that tiny slot. like, I know people are going to be criticizing, saying, oh, there's slight sort of auto aim, like sort of on mobile, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference when it comes to that. You still have to have fantastic control. So it's really good that they managed to come in with that clutch and that kill. And 11 kills, got to give them props there. But let's move on from them, guys. Really interesting game for day 4?
Yeah, day 4, if you prefer. It's, day 1 of week 2. Like, we only have a couple more days left until the semifinals end. We get into the regional finals, the top 16 teams from the ME region, and only one of those end up qualifying to that final top 16 from around the world. But it's great stuff. And if you've missed any of the moments of the PUBG Mobile action, you, of course, go to the website down at the bottom of the screen. It is clubopen.pubgmobile.com. You'll also get access to the stats and, of course, the standings, as well as all of our rosters.
And they've updated it so you can see individual player stats. Make sure to go check it out.
Awesome, by the way. It makes prep so much better. And of course, if you have missed any of the action, want to check up on some of those highlight reels, don't forget to go over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PUBGMobile Esports. Smash that subscription button, and as Tom always likes to say,
ding dong that notification bell.
So you do not miss a single minute of the PUBG Mobile Esports action. It's some good stuff, man. And I think this was a good omen. Vikendi, a great first map. I can't wait to see more. Maybe the teams will fight it out a little faster. We have Miramar coming up next, but we got a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the PUBG Mobile action.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
Welcome back, everybody, once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. Tom likes to imitate all of my coming back from break poses. But we had quite an interesting first map. Vikendi, Tom, 25 minutes, almost nobody dies, and then all hell breaks loose. What was going on?
It was so insane, and I use that word so many times, but you kind of have to when the fact that, well, there was obviously...
It was repeatedly true.
Yeah, there was 14 teams at 20 minutes, and then at 27 minutes, there was 11 teams alive. Actually, 12 at one point, which is just crazy. I mean, when it comes to it, you don't expect that to come in, but a lot of these teams are learning, and the way the circle sort of landed each time, a lot of teams did have to push in, so I kept on expecting, it was like, okay, this is where a bunch of people are going to die, but no, they all had decent rotation circles, and they actually pushed in gently, or they managed to survive with one person, like SMP, for example.
Right.
And it kept on going and going and going until they had to cross that river, and that's where we saw about 7 teams drop off within a couple of seconds. I think it was probably more like sort of 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to tell actually what was going on there for sure, but of course you can always check the standings, see exactly how it all went down by checking out our website down below at clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all the up-to-minute stats as well as the standings. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to see all the player stats, go check there. If you want to see more highlights, go and check out the YouTube.
Yeah, it's right below as well. That is youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE. Don't forget to smash that subscription button and
ding dong that notification bell.
Music to my ears every single time. You won't miss a single minute of the action, and trust me, you will not want to. It has been absolutely magnificent. I really can't wait to see who ends up making it out into that top 16. But Tom, we had a couple of surprises, man. S&T out in 15th place that last round. What was going on with them?
I think they just played a little bit too hard and loose, and they got punished for it. They tried playing aggressive against the team, played a little bit outside their play style. I think we didn't see it too much on screen. We saw a lot of the fights going outside of the on the kill feed, but I think they were just playing a little bit too aggressive because they were overconfident and they got slapped back.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, for them, they don't get a whole lot of points out of that one, so they'll have a chance to recover. I mean, we saw Vikendi fairly small as far as all the maps are concerned. We're going to go polar opposite with this next one. We'll have Miramar. We've seen very little Miramar actually in this tournament, as much frequency as Sandhawk. In fact, we pretty much interchanged them. What are you expecting to see different this time around?
I think we're going to be seeing TRD come out the top again. I think Miramar is where they can shine if they just come back through it, because we saw it on the first day. And that was when they were playing terrible. But in the past, when we've seen them play, and they play on Miramar, they tend to have pretty good performances. But at the same time, we have got S&T and SWAT 69, 2 of the best performances on this map across the series.
Right, yeah, that's totally reasonable. And I think this is such a stacked set of groups right now that everything's going to be tough. But that last game really kind of taught us the meaning of Battle Royale, because everyone just got shoved into that circle at the very end and had to just fight it out. Really want to give a lot of credit to MEA for stepping it up, like, you know, kind of running and gunning really consistently better than a lot of other teams. And I think that kind of consistently is them. MEA are a team that's always on the move. I don't think I've ever seen them actually try and defend a compound. They're always going somewhere. And this is why they get that chicken dinner when it was absolute chaos.
Yeah, I mean, they got 41 points from that game alone, which is going to be pushing them up on the leaderboards, which we will see later on. This is obviously going to be Group A and B going off. We're going into the 14th match, and it's going to be on Miramar. I'm pumped to see what happens on this match, because I really want to see a little bit of turnaround from TRD in the performance. But I mean, who do you expect to come through on this one?
I mean, I think MEA has a pretty good chance of doing it, but I definitely think that you're right, TRD, this is the kind of map they can really succeed on. I just want to see more of 7T, because we had some high hopes for them. Out of, like, our top 4 squads that we've been talking about, they've definitely been one of the weaker ones. But in the chaos, they kind of fell down again. I think 7T does their best work when they get into a situation where they have a good compound they can hold out on and let their clutch players control Reef, really step up into it. Miramar is the kind of map that allows that. So I expect them to do a little better this time around. I'll be really disappointed. Although, to be fair, last Miramar, we had a Prison Island circle, so all bets were off there, for sure.
Yeah,
anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wiry one for them. And you know what? Last game, they did actually perform fairly well. They did manage to get a bunch of kills, and they did a couple of finishes as well. So you have to give praise to them on that front. And then they tried to go in for a rotation, but unfortunately, it was a little bit too difficult. They were one of the unfortunate teams that did just get snapped up a little bit earlier.
Speaking of snap, how about Sniper really staying alive until like the top 8 when he was out so early in that game? Every one of his teammates.
And talking about Sniper, and we were talking about 7T, he took down 2 and finished 2 of their players. Okay.
Well, he was sitting behind a rock solo. And didn't he? We said he had to micro Uzi. He must have gotten loot somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like whenever he was fighting them, one of the other teams, I think it was LND at the time, back at the start, he was just using his micro Uzi all the time. He was peeking with his micro Uzi, everything. So we were like, okay, he's obviously got no ammo for his M4. He comes out of this, finishes off one of the players, and then kills another 7T member, which is unheard of. I mean, they're not the best performing team, but it's good to see Snap coming out with a clutch play.
They have some clutch players, and I think Sniper is probably one of them. We've seen Thanos do well as well. Seif has had some good moments. I think everyone on that team has potential, and that's why we really highlighted them at the start of the day.
Yeah.
They're on the bubble right now. They're looking to break into that top 16 to make it to the regional finals. We need to see more of them before that can happen, but if they can continue to have standout performances, at least with individual players, there's still a chance.
Yeah, I think having that individual play is fantastic, and we've seen it do really well. But at the same time, we've also seen it fail with the likes of 70. Although a lot of them were playing at the end there's no real sort of individual standouts at all for that front. And yeah, that was a nice whoosh.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing. Why would do it again? Oh, we're on Miramar this time.
And
as
look,
planes coming in from the northwest, all over to Puerto Paraiso.
And this is going to be over El Pozo. And this is definitely one of the favorite drops for TRD. And they did ask me, do we just drop straight into the spots below us, or do we always rotate? And I told them, I was like, that's up to you. Pick a town and usually stick with it and dominate that area. Looks like they're not going to be going with that one, and they are going to be going in for the potentially longer rotation. And let's see where they do end up going this time around. There's a lot of teams that have dropped up towards the north.
Yeah, we've seen some cool fights happening there on El Pozo over by Crater Fields as well. It'll be interesting to see who ends up taking it. It looks like MEA are going to be going a little further to south, where SWAT 6-9 is going to be there, as long as HeadHunterrs as well. TRD still haven't dropped out of this plane. A couple more teams heading up to San Martin as well as a little further down south.
It'll be interesting to see if they are actually just waiting for people to drop, so that they know where it's actually a little bit more safe. They are going to be dropping into Los Leones, and it does seem like they are going to be alone here. Nope. I say that, IQM do drop out.
7T, that's not too far away. But yeah, IQM dropped out pretty close to them. Looks like they're moving away from it. So TRD might have the run of, these little small area compounds south of Los Leones.
Yeah, we're going to be quite heavy up towards the northern side of this Hacienda junkyard and a few other places. It's going to be heavy, and look at that circle.
Oh boy.
It's going to be
an El Azahar circle.
That is going to be an interesting one. It's definitely one of my preferred ones to watch. And also cast. Let's see where they do end up going. And there's going to be a lot of teams that do have that dominance.
Instant shuffle for a lot of squads to try and make tracks that way. Nobody wants to be caught out this far away, and not such a big map.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of tracks to be made, and I think it's going to be possible. But it really depends on this solid line of teams on how they break up going into the game. So
yeah, they're basically blockading everybody if they stay here, right?
Yeah, I mean, the way it sort of works out, they're not going to be able to stay in that kind of position. But if they did, theoretically, that really screws up a lot of teams like Rush to Crush, TRD, LND, maybe even Nox. The other teams can rotate through the north side, but Hackshot, so TRD, we're talking about them here, so they're going to be looting up at the start in Los Leones. And one of the good things about this town is there's a lot of buildings and there's a lot of loot.
That's a nice thing, and nobody's really contesting it right now. It's, of course, not in the circle, so the only downside is they will have to move away. But a fully kitted up TRD is definitely a terrifying squad to deal with. This is a team that we have not just hopes but expectations for, because they are pretty much unequivocally the strongest at this tournament. In the group stages, they were so incredibly dominant. They had one bad day. We knew they weren't practicing, but they came right back into it.
Yeah, and I mean, they did actually mention to me that this is their first tournament together and hadn't really played too much together before this. It's kind of insane, the fact that how good they have been throughout this whole thing. So I'm excited to see if they can make it through to the next part. And we are actually going to be seeing potentially a bit of a standoff between SMP and LTK.
Yeah, LTK had a really bad round last time on Vikendi. We'll see if they can do things a little bit better here. A little bit more confident in their ability to start taking a fight, but SMP, they might still have some surprises. We've talked about how good Sniper is in these cross-compound plays.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too much of a dedicated Sniper player out of them. I know he's called Sniper, but I don't really see too many shots with the snipers from him. On TRD, though, we do have Zero, who is by far, I think, maybe the second best sniper on here. B52 is going to be my first one. And
he's definitely the one whose highlights come to mind. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I think Lashin also is up there as well for one of the better players from SNT. Although I don't think he's playing today, if I remember correctly. So we'll have to double check on that.
We didn't see him, but then again, SNT did get dropped down really early on. LTK still only loading in with 3 players, and that is the unfortunate thing, as we saw this last time around. So clearly they're missing someone for not just 1, but 2 games in a row.
Yeah, and so I don't really like this player, so they're trying to push aggressive against this. And so it kind of reminds me of that of Rush to Crush, and it's not really something they should be aiming to do, because LTK, although they had a fantastic first game last week, not really performed fantastically since then, so they kind of need that placement over kills, but it does look like they're trying to dominate that of SMP who are next to them.
Yeah, another team we're checking in on is AXT. Now, this is a team that I call a bubble squad, even though they come in as a 15th place, because there's a lot of teams that can challenge them in that area. And remember, you just need to be able to make that top 16. AXT had a really great group stage. they were so good. We called them almost a more aggressive Nox, not just because both teams represent Israel, but because AXT also have that really solid tactical wherewithal, but they're a much more aggressive side. They like going for the breaches, and that was their undoing on Erangel last week. When they tried to go for some crazy play, they rotated around on a couple of beach sides, and they just kind of almost, I'm going to borrow a League of Legends term, inted.
And what does that mean exactly?
It means intentionally feeding. It means you run into danger with the intent of dying. And that's kind of what it looked like on the AXT side. So I want to see them go back to the group stage performance a little bit more. They've still stacked up enough points to get top 16. They're not doing awful. I'm being a little harsh on them. But I know they can do better.
Yeah, I mean, I think not even as far back as the group stage. They did have a standout performance where they won on Erangel. And that wasn't just like a standard win. They really did a fantastic push into the middle of nowhere of a shooting range where they had to push, get a player down, and then try and fight the people as they pushed. And they did it fantastically. So let's see how they do here. So Rush to Crush are one of the teams that do tend to land in towards Picardo. They have got a team that are joining them, and I think it's one of the other usual ones. I can't quite see. Is it Snap?
It looks like they might be the ones facing them across. We'll have to see when we expand out the minimap. But Rush to
No,
Crush
it's
is with
IK.
patience that we have not seen so far. We will see if they do go in for the breach play. It looks like they're making tracks that way towards IK. Now, I almost favor Rush to Crush in this one because they have been, of these two, the stronger side.
I think they should be able to have this one quite easily. IK don't have the firepower. They can't quite hit the shots. They don't have the aim or tactical plays behind them.
They're survivors. That's what IK do well when they play well. They just know how to get out of harm's way, kind of like HeadHunterr, but with less tunnel vision.
Yeah, I mean, they look at the skill set of 17. They were like, cool. But they could only pick like one of them three at like the skill selection process and the creation of like the character.
Sometimes
and so
you just roll low, you know.
So they just picked one, and that was it. But
speaking of picking one, maybe you should have gone for more than one vehicle. SMP. They
trapped in the
somehow
corner.
managed to, but they do get trapped in the corner, and they are just getting mowed down by the fire of AXT's Demon and Lord. The
Oh
car gets
my
blown.
God.
SMP out in 16th. What was that?
that was what we would call a terrible play. They tried to crash and.
Well, they did crash and then burned.
They tried to crash into the wall and trying to create some cover, but unfortunately for them, the positioning of Executor was just next level, and they absolutely slaughtered them. As some might say, it was like lamb to slaughter, and that's exactly what happened. They were slaughtered and easy kills for this team. So that's going to be 4 members out on the SMP side. Thanos, it wasn't even in this game, so
Yeah, he
can't
wasn't
even make
even
any low strokes, but
no,
still.
no contest apparently.
There's also another team here, though, and it's going to be that of 7T. So can they avenge these guys and get the frags onto Executor?
Whatever it takes, man. We'll see 7T making moves over towards the AXT side, but that's a quick 4 frags picked up by the Israeli squad. We'll see if they can get a little bit more done here for themselves. 7T.
They know they're here.
They have to.
Yeah, Pulat's going to be playing a little bit of a dangerous game here, because if he makes too much noise, they're just going to single him out and take him out. But Executor at the same time are closing in around them.
Now, Palat was not the player that started with this team when we first saw them in the group stages. If I recall correctly, he came out in week 2, and we started seeing a little bit more of this guy for sure. So it's good to know that AXT continue to kind of rotate their roster around. They don't just have 4 strong players, but now they're down to 3. It looks like Palat getting dropped as the rest of 7T come in very quickly on the breach. Lord getting taken out. And I don't know what I'm watching, but this doesn't look like the AXT side that we saw a little earlier.
No, and it does seem like they know when to abandon and just give it up, and that's exactly what they're going to do now. So down to 2 members trying to run for it. And I just got to give massive props to 7T there. They didn't just rush up the stairs. They also went from one building to the other outside the window, jumped in, and that's how they got that first knock. Because he was not expecting. He was like, right, I've got the one and only entry covered. But unfortunately for him, 7T know how to play this game. They knew how to enter that building from an unsuspected situation. And Angle, they got the frag, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
So AXT down to 2, going to have to try and play for that positioning. And man, that is a lot of off-roading going
What?
on the caravan
Did you
coming
see
through
how high
for
they
LND.
went?
Yeah, they caught some serious air there. And that's in a van.
Like, notoriously the slowest car in the game. And
I love Miramar, man. You can do some weird stuff.
yeah, and they are in the blue, so they're going to have to be a little careful with that one. So
Rest of AXT, just 2-man driving away. Nice little road trip for them as they'll try to find a hidey hole for a little while. And I still think they can definitely threaten for a while. Yeah, LND, yeah, everyone get out and push. Yep, flip the car. Cool,
Yep,
we're
it
good.
worked. Look at the artwork on that, though. I have to give mad props to PUBG Mobile guys and Tencent, the guys developing it. This game is insane. Some of the skins and stuff, and the fact that they've just announced the Godzilla mode and function that's coming out.
Yes.
That's crazy. Like, we don't see that in anything like that kind of update. We only tend to see in the game like Fortnite. This, on the other hand, is coming through and proving that it can be done in a game that is played a little bit more competitively.
It's getting a little bit more colorful, too. I think we've seen a lot more skins being used today alongside some of our more well-known players. Looks like there's a package here not too far from S&T. Don't know if they'll be able to sniff it out. Should be. There's a lot of red smoke billowing away from it, and nobody's in the area to contest. L&D continuing to catch big air here, but I don't think that's how you're supposed to drive.
They're going to end up dying. They're in the blue still right now.
Guys, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
If they crash again, I think at least one of them is going to get knocked out.
This is like getting caught in the desert without a bunch of water. You're just dead.
Yeah, going through it with a horse and no name. But, you know, Faker is going to have to use a first aid kit. And this is good and all. They're going to be able to make it through, I think. But they're using a lot of their meds up early on. So later game, they're going to have to depend on being able to get the kills. And L&D, although a good team, if they're coming in weak, I think they might go out a little bit earlier on. And talking about a potential weak team, UN, although came in to second place at the end of last game.
Impressive performance, plus replacement.
They only got 2 kills.
Yeah, they barely fired a shot. I mean, that was the thing. We saw some of their damage numbers, only 50 on a couple of players. But they did know how to get into a good position early, unlike L&D, it would seem.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a yikes from them. But
yeah, we're back with them.
They
cleared the circle.
Oh, no!
How do they stay on 4 wheels?
They're going to like get inside the circle, run out of fuel, and have to start running again. That's going to be the situation. This is just so unfortunate. So this is just sort of cutting off Les Leon, so they're going to try and get past this, and there you go. They have actually made it past it. They should have enough fuel in that. It doesn't tend to use too much. This is going to be an interesting fight, because this is in a bowl, a big crater around an airplane fight, and this does actually create a lot of interesting dynamics. There's a lot of ridges, a lot of height difference. See how it turns out.
A lot of different types of cover as well. We'll take a look at LTK with those 3 members on their side still kind of available. The road trip continues for L&D. Honestly, this has been one of the most interesting parts of the game, just to see where they go. But they're going to be within the circle now. They finally made it to where they're looking for. They'll set up shop, but as you pointed out, very low on health. Going to have to apply some bandages. Won't have a lot of loot available to them.
Yeah, I mean, this guy here, Fakers, he's only got 2 stims in total, 1 energy, 1 painkiller, and 1 first aid kit, plus the 5 bandages, which he was having to use. So, unfortunate for him, not going to be an interesting game going on unless he can get the loot, or he plays a clutch play. Let's see what goes on here.
Here's where some of the fights might start to begin. We're about 11 minutes into this game, or almost 12, I should say. As you can see, LTK, Rush to Crush facing each other off at the plane crash site. Start seeing these numbers thinned a bit.
I think one of the things with Miramar is this has the potential of lasting even longer without teams dying. Or
that is fair.
It can go the other way because there's so much open ground that when teams try to rotate, there's not really that much cover.
Right, yeah. And I think it's very possible that we do get a very long one, as you pointed out, but we start seeing teams looking to face off one another. That's why I kind of pointed out here, because with the likes of Rush to Crush, they'll want to take a couple fights. They did lose 1 member so far, getting dropped down by LTK. You can see Rush doesn't have sights on Slom as he gets dropped down and nearly eliminated as he tries to crawl into cover here. Slom should be able to get the finishing blow, and LTK, only 3 members strong, have managed to even the odds a bit.
I mean, this is the kind of what you need to be careful of in this area, because most of those buildings actually have damage done to them, so there's a lot of angles you can be shot through. And unfortunately for him, he didn't expect the Kar 98 shot to be able to hit him fast enough, so he peeked it, tried to shoot, and then the shots came in to finish him off from Slom. Well played by them. I mean, LTK are going to be closing them in. I think it will be Rush to Crush, kind of rush in the end.
Yep, I think this is it. Slom, he's got a great spot on Tupac now, and I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of things that Rush to Crush can do. So with only 3 members, LTK do prove that they can come in the clutch.
Well, we now know what happens to Tupac, and we're going to be moving on to the latest stage game here.
Let's talk about L&D's fantastic road trip. I mean, this is like a most excellent adventure if you're a fan of Bill and Ted right now. And they finally find a nice little homestead, some loot spots to get into. I don't even think they're going to stop here for very long. I mean, in fact, they don't.
Unfortunately for them, if they do carry on, they're going to be bumping heads with a couple other teams, and I don't know how good that's going to be. Oh.
Nades out for Red Bull. Around the side, doesn't quite find who he's looking for. Yeah, this fight isn't a foregone conclusion just yet. It is still 3v3. One of the members of Rush to Crush is down, but they have no idea where the opposition is coming from.
I find it very hard to think that this isn't going to go in the favor of LTK. I mean, the circle's now coming in, so they're all going to be fighting with this blue damage coming in on them.
A tense moment here. Rush to Crush trying to make it happen. Red Bull not moving. Oh, he sprayed down! That was a great moment there for the likes of Nasser. Man, I can't believe he saw that shot, and now it's going to be 9-9. Slom all of a sudden realizes what the heck happened to my teammates.
And he is going to be the last one standing. How's the tables turned?
Trying to get it down. Nasser is going to get dropped. Let's see as Damu comes out here. He's going to try to finish the shot. Damu getting the finisher onto one of those LTK members, 2 from Rush to Crush down, 1 knocked, but he's going to be able to get the res.
And Solomon's going to have to back away from the situation. He knows it's not a good idea for him to continue, but he has got sight lines.
Oh my goodness, can he get it? Oh! Just into the corner he goes.
Throw a God nade. Throw a God nade right now, Slom. Get
gonna
that
use a first aid kit.
He
Just
needs
a 1v2.
to. But I think he thinks, oh, you know what, I'm just going to have to take these guys on.
But they're fighting like well beyond the blue at this point. They decided that they wanted to make a stand here, and Slom, he's just going to try and leg it out of here. Meanwhile, we saw MEA kind of getting the better of HeadHunterr's off screen in the kill feed, and he does try to take another position on the top side, not able to find what he's looking for here.
Yeah, he might just be able to clutch this out against these guys. It would be interesting if he can, because it's a bit of a flip to one side, flip to another, and flip back to LTK. But he's going in for this long rotation around here. He hasn't reloaded his gun, and it looks like he's going towards the car, which is, I think, stuck on those that building. Nope.
On the pile of rocks. Let's see, can he move? Oh my goodness.
He only has 5 bandages and 1 first aid kit.
That is not going to end well for either of those teams. We'll check back in when it ends up getting decided. Here is where the next circle will place in just a few moments, and that's an interesting one. We go to the southeast. IQM's Mustafa 99. He's just hanging out by the water.
There's also, I think it was Wolf in the midst of a bunch of other players as well, but 7T are popping up right now.
Starting to see it. Oh, Slum, speaking of, he's popping off too. Managed to take down Nasser, and I don't know. That was it. I think is the end of Rush to Crush.
He's
so
dead,
Slum, he's going to die, so it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, but he did get the win.
He had bandages. Slum, use your bandages. Meanwhile, TRD looking to take on that of IK. Now, this is not a fair fight.
No, I do not think so. IK trying to stay alive, but Kawan moving out in the open means he will get shot down in an instant. Kevin coming in here to the compound. In-game leader for TRD, going to rotate around this side, and I think this is not a fight, it's a massacre.
That is just absolutely slaughter. I mentioned it earlier, Lambs to slaughter, and this was just pretty much not as bad, much of a case of it, but still a fantastic play by TRD, being able to do that. And now we actually have IQM, 3 members, Tomb, Wolf, and Purge sitting here.
And they've been moving.
And they've also got Mustafa down in the water, being able to play a whole different angle. I think this is, to be honest, a really unique tactic and also a really good one.
And I like this a lot better from IQM. They're keeping 3 together, and they've decided that they want to go ahead and have a little bit more there. It looks like the fight's going to be happening as LND and TRD fighting on 2 different fronts here. As IQM going to open up fire onto MEA. We just have fights happening all across the board, all in the same area here as Falastine gets knocked down. Ben exploded by LND's King. And when the carnage settles, we're still down to 11.
Yeah, and this is going to be MEA, the team that won last game with 41 points, 11 kills total. Insane plays coming in from them, and now they're going to be getting punished. Multiple of their members have been knocked down. IQM were helping TRD in this front. Now TRD are looking to take on these players. They want these kills. They want the win. They need to get the top. And that grenade!
Oh, Wolf! That was dead on by Hixie. Fantastic shot as he's crawling on his hands and knees. TRD, you mentioned it, they're absolutely hungry here. You can see Purge looking to push around the side, looking for the MEA members. It's Falastine and Abbas. Don't know where the other 2 are, if they're still alive in this game. You can see 7T have kind of tangled with a couple too many squads, and they're starting to lose members. They might actually be out in just a minute looking at that kill feed. We'll check back in just a bit as Wolf finally gets finished off by 0.
Be careful,
Kevin.
yeah.
Oh boy. He opens up onto Tomb. It's going to be a little rough for the IQM side. Kevin, he's chunked. Nice stutter step, but he does it. 1v2 clutch.
IGL who? IGL Kevin coming in here, sweeping the floor with 2 members in a 1v2 situation. You can't fault them.
Man, what a front line for TRD. Now, that will not result in the elimination of IQM because they have gone for the split strategy, but Kevin gets sprayed down by Falastine. So does Hackshot and 0. MEA, have they just cleaned up TRD? Hixie's the last man standing, and he finishes it.
You called him out, and he brought it back in. Hixie
What in the heck?
With the massive clutch. The team of clutches back on form. It's usually 7T doing the mass clutches, but this time round we see Kevin, we see Hixie.
This is what we talk about when we say TRD are never down until every one of their teammates are. If there's a single person standing, they'll be able to get back on their feet. But at the moment, L&D, they smell the blood. They want to come in and finish it off. They are fresh off that long voyage from halfway across the map. And meanwhile, we will see MBZ Falcons starting to lose some members over to the S&T side, who's having a much better round on Miramar.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and do a lot more to be able to survive this. The circle is now going to be closing in.
That's going to be Boom. He didn't quite have the scope down onto Captain, and he gets taken down by Narcos. Los Kev going to try and open up once again. MBZ still have 1 man standing. But it looks like he's increasingly isolated. Needs to get over to Script to get him back off his knees. And meanwhile, the fight happens with TRD. Hixie finding 2. That's going to be drugs dropped. Kevin does get headshot by Faker, the ace from the team. Meanwhile, MBZ going to get eliminated out in 9th place off across the map.
There's so much action going on. And I just want to reiterate one point. TRD doing a fantastic job. 3 other members were down when LND were pushing them. They managed to come up, pick up all their members, and bring that in. A fantastic play, wiping them out there in that spot.
TRD are stacking kills.
TRD are back on their old form. We didn't see this most of last week, but we are seeing it at the start of this week. Second game in, I told you this was when they could potentially come in on Miramar, and I'm so glad they're proving me right on this so far. But until they've won it, I'm not happy with them.
Hey, anything's up at the moment. We'll see if you get your wish for sure, if you will be happy with TRD's performance after this. So many teams very weakened. There are still 7 alive, but only 16 players in the game. Groza crawling, looking as Ray goes forward here. The SWAT 6-9 side going to meet up with HeadHunterr, who've actually lasted this long into the game. So nice
Very
job
surprising.
for them. Of course, IQM still have Mustafa 99, who's making his way up. But TRD certainly have to feel like the favorites right now. They're just back on form. Everybody breaching into them. They still managed to hold firm. Big credit to Hixie for clutching it out when 3 of his teammates were knocked.
I mean, if it wasn't for Kevin's playing that 1v2 as well, they would have been out a lot earlier on, I think, as well. So got to give them props for that. And also, IQM still going to be in here right now with 1 member remaining. Thanks to their split play, they went 3-1. 1 person managed to stay alive, and that's gained them into the top 8. If they hadn't done that, they would have been out on top 10, which is a whole different kettle of fish, especially as I don't think they got many, if any, kills.
No, the lion's share have definitely gone to TRD this time. But let's check in with some of these weakened sides. HeadHunterr going to try and stay hidden here as the 2 SWAT 6-9 members getting near them, look to pass. And we have a very urban end to this, but a lot of hilly cover available to these teams. I think TRD might be the only full squad left.
I think they are. And, I mean, like you said, though, we saw a lot of sort of urban fights to start it off, and this is going to be ending in the wilderness on the hillside in Miramar. And this is going to be causing a lot of issues for the teams that aren't already on this hillside, because it's more than likely to close either central or towards north. I'd like to be proven wrong, but see in a couple of seconds where that's going to land.
Some of the other teams still up we haven't talked about as much. Nox kind of surviving a few of these early firefights. It looks like they have a handful of members left. And of course, as we mentioned, HeadHunterr's right in the dead center of it. We'll see as everyone else starts creeping in. S&T have 3 members. So they're the 2nd strongest squad left up.
I mean, oh, it does shift down south. That is painful, but TRD could take the wipe on these 2 teams.
Yeah, SWAT 6-9 is definitely a different caliber of team, but they're significantly weakened down to 2 members. And look at Hackshot. He's actually backing away from the rest of the team, looking to take the wide angle.
Yeah, so there's actually going to be 2 full squads here, and there's going to be S&T,
S&T do have 4.
and TRD.
Oh, my goodness.
That's dangerous. That pretty much means these 2 powerhouses, and you saw where they're positioning, they're going to be coming in from each side.
And remember, the last time we saw S&T really step it up on Miramar, it was Lashin down up against Ray, 1v1. Both these players still alive. Mustafa from IQM, he's going to throw the nade out here, looking for Zeus from UN. Meanwhile, the shot's open up. Kevin dropped down by Ray.
This is not looking so good, but HeadHunterr's still a kill, I think, on that one.
Yeah, it looks like Kevin loses his life. Zero gets knocked as well. Not looking so good, but Hackshot, maybe he can be the clutch shot for his team. You see Hixie, Zero still here, but he's bleeding out quickly. Hackshot trying to make moves up there.
Oh, I don't think they got it.
He's going to get eliminated. Narcos does get that one. The BAP with HeadHunterr still trying to stay strong. Still 14 players alive, 7 teams.
They're in such a difficult situation right now. TRD are going to have to protect behind them, and also down this ridge line. Lots of angles they can get shot from, and it seems like SWAT 6-9 are going in for the hard rotation hit in the vehicle.
He just got eliminated. Meanwhile, Hackshot trying to take down Ray, but he can't quite close it in time there. He's got his angle on the shot, but he just doesn't have a fast enough arm to make it happen. As Ray rolls out, he's already moved away from the car. It does get blown by Hackshot, but that's not the trouble here. Ray's coming up to try and take out the rest of TRD. He goes for Hackshot, gets the knock, and he doesn't take a single shot. One-on-one with Hixie. He doesn't have the right angle.
I think Ray might be able to have this, but Hixie can't come in clutch.
TRD out in 6th place. I cannot believe it. But Ray, the hero of Miramar for his side.
They get 15 kills, though, which is just fantastic. No record-breaking times for them this time round. It's just too much of a difficult situation. HeadHunterrs have recovered. But meanwhile, Nox are looking to blow up to S&T's chances here.
Yeah, they knocked Lashin. That was a great headshot there coming out of Galiko. We'll see if they can do a little bit more. Julius, meanwhile, he's just in this ridge trying to play it right within the circle. Pops the energy drink to see what he can do. I feel like he knows He's outclassed with a lot of these members still available, still alive in this game. But if there's one thing HeadHunterr is good at doing, it is staying alive beyond all shadow of a doubt. And they've got 2 members strong, so they definitely can upset the apple cart.
Yeah, and although Lashin has been able to recover from this, his helmet has been popped, so he's now going to be a lot weaker. If someone decides to go for a spray against him, all it takes is a single headshot from a couple of guns.
You know, Ray's still clutching this out, but he's on his own at this point, and I wonder how well that's going to fare, especially if S&T really run into him. Starting to throw a couple of nades out as they're playing backed against the blue for the moment, and this is going to be an absolute photo finish. 10 players alive, 5 teams, 4 of them are S&T.
I mean, this circle is going to be so difficult. I mean, HeadHunterr's going to have to walk through the middle here or go around the side, that back behind S&T, and I mean, ideally, what I want to see is S&T down to Lashin, and him versus Ray in a 1v1. So let's see.
Get a rematch.
I want to see that rematch. Come on.
Got to go through Nox first right now. You can see, okay, Narcos a little low. He's going to be using his first aid kit. Well, within that circle now, so S&T feeling pretty happy about the situation at the moment. This is about the best you can ask for. Smoke's just coming down in a line. Lashin gets knocked again by Morzy. Nox are really the pain in the backs. Meanwhile, Morzy does get dropped as well, and the BAP opening up fire to try and steal a kill away by taking out Lashin. Meanwhile, IQM lose their last remaining member, so it is just down to 2.
Yeah, so we're going to be down to 4 teams now, so it's going to be S&T in the strongest position.
Oh, Morzy's taken out. And Galiko dropped. I think that's it. That's going to be Nox out of this game.
Difficult time for this, but Ray, he's still alive right now. So HeadHunterrs, they're doing damage.
S&T finding Julius, though. That is a knockdown. We still have 3 teams remaining. S&T, SWAT 6-9, and HeadHunterr. Against all odds, the Bahraini boys are staying alive.
Good for them, and they're going to be looking to do damage. The Bape has been picked up here. Oh, no, he wasn't picked up. He's just got so little health. It looked like he was a fresh pickup.
All right, Ray, trying to wrap around. I think he's hoping that HeadHunterrs can soften up this S&T side so that it might be a bit more of an even fight here. 2 kills to his name, but he has been no stranger to surviving into a final fight on Miramar in the past. This is where SWAT 6-9 put their names on the map.
Yeah, they're going to have to be very careful here, because if he lets another one of the members of S&T push up, he is going to be a lot of trouble. But although actually saying that, the other member of S&T is going to be going up for the rotation around the top, and Ray...
he's going to go for it. He just needs to get a shot in the window, and that's the detection, but Ray gets outplayed across the way. Captain coming up with the final shot there as Mustafa does get dropped down, but the strength in numbers comes through, and it's all down to S&T versus HeadHunterr.
And HeadHunterrs is going to be so low, but Captain, he doesn't know where they are. He's like, hang on a minute. Where are you?
That's the Bape in that house, but it's starting to shrink down here, and this is going to be open. Only one house will remain. Mustafa is going to be kind of just crawling around to give some information, but it really truly is a 1v1 situation between him and the Bape. And how good of a story would this be if HeadHunterr managed to get the finishing kill, get the chicken dinner here?
I think it's going to be very difficult to be able to see that. He's a little bit low on health. He has got a helmet. Captain, though, has played fantastically in the past and should have the advantage here. He's got to push in, but he's got Mustafa at the moment to feed him information. The Bape, he has to do something here, and it can't just be sitting in that building anymore.
Oh, he's got to start making moves for it. Mustafa, he's bled out. It's just a true one-on-one at the moment. Energy drink popped by Captain, and this is what it's all about. 2 players, Miramar, open area, smokes down. 1v1 me, bro.
Not the 1v1 I expected, but the 1v1 we all deserve, I think. And you know what, the Bape, it's your time to shine. You've got the moment to prove.
He's got to move.
He gets hit by the blue. I'm already disappointed. What are you doing, lad?
Well, he's into the only other compound, but unfortunately things are just going to keep shrinking for himself as he just tries to heal up just a little more. Unfortunately, that tree cover seeming to suit Captain. I think this fight might end up being over. It's who loses their nerve first, who loses their positioning first, and Captain, he's in a decent spot.
Yeah, and this is just a small play coming out from S&T, and the shot's coming in.
That's going to be it. S&T pull it off, and, ooh, Captain by Captain. That is a big kill.
Yeah, and that was a lot of kills for them as well. A total of 13 for them in first place, taking them to a 43-point game for them. GG, well played, and I mean...
That HeadHunterr getting to the top 2 with only getting 2 kills, and this is what we mean by they're a survivalist team. They know how to last well beyond teams that just out-frag them on the regular. But placement's so important. You pick up 22 points for that, 2 more when you factor in the frags they got. That's 24 for a team that really needs to step it up in order to make it into the top 16. That is a much-needed sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, they need to do a lot more than just this, but this is definitely a start. And we've still got a bunch of games to play here. I mean, after today, they've still got another 4 games to play. See what they can do. But let's have a look at the highlights here, guys. Starting off with Executor slaughtering these guys so easy, snapping them out of existence.
Yeah, well, what do you expect from a name like Executor? Unfortunately, push came to shove on the opposite side. And here we see L&D's excellent adventure where they just kept flipping the car over and over again. Somehow they didn't run into anybody halfway across the map. We'll talk more about them later because then LTK goes in on to Rush to Crush. And this is a bit of a fight where really nobody wins because at the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to place in one position ahead or not.
Yeah, I think it was 13th position or something like that. We will see. But this was such a good play coming in from TRD, their first one of many, and unfortunately for MEA, they tried pushing in. They got punished.
They absolutely did. TRD really just defied the odds over and over again. A brilliant nade there puts Wolf on his knees from Hixie, and Hixie would be the hero, but not before Kevin had his shot, playing the 1v2 clutch up against these IQM members, and then even with MEA coming forward, he was able to clutch it out. Hixie last man standing against two. He mows them down. L&D even starts sniffing in here, but he's able to get enough of them back on their feet.
Yeah, I just want to say, L&D right now are pushing in when there was originally so few members up from TRD, and even with not full health, TRD managed to push them all down into the ground and feed them the dirt they deserved.
Yeah, I guess it started as an excellent journey, ended as a bogus journey, I should say. TRD here trying to make the plays onto SWAT 6-9 as the circle started closing in. Unfortunately, they ended up getting outplayed there. Ray just mowing them down one at a time. First it was Hackshot, then it was Hixie. And he is such an MVP player, but unfortunately, SWAT 6-9 would not take the chicken dinner here.
Yeah, he tried to play that sort of aggressive push, and this is what we talked about. That's the main difference between SWAT 69 and SNT, and unfortunately, it was the undoing of SWAT 69. SNT, though, fantastic players coming in here, and you can see Ray obviously getting taken out before the Bape takes his place.
Yeah, and then, of course, the Bape on his knees, unfortunately couldn't do much more from that. Captain having a great position behind, and they will be able to pick up those kills. We're starting at 9 for some reason in the results. We'll rewind it in just a minute so you could see how it kind of went down in that match. But yeah, some of these teams out really early. You talked about Snap, you talked about Rush to Crush. Of course, they picked up a better positional placement, but then kind of lost it out because they couldn't get quite so many on frags. Honestly, Miramar, that was what I was expecting in a lot of ways. Although TRD not winning, that was just because Ray is so darn good, man.
Yeah, I think it's because they didn't quite position themselves properly, and unfortunately they were kind of pincered in the situation where they had to fight SNT from down the hill and also SWAT 69 up on the hill. It was just really unfortunate timing for them, but nonetheless, they end the game with second place in total in amount of points, 28 in total. 15? Oh, it was actually 16 kills?
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
Okay,
and this is the difference, right? HeadHunterr placed second, but TRD actually upstanded them, and the only team they couldn't overcome was S&T, who near-matched them on kill points, as well as getting that chicken dinner. And this is just absolutely insane. S&T really coming into their own. We talked about them being a team to watch. Definitely the best team representing Iraq, and that is saying something at this tournament where roughly half the players remaining are coming from that country.
I think you said it was like 36 players remaining.
Yeah, just about.
Still, which is insane. And Seven Reef actually managed to pick up 7 kills, although they only get into 7th place and get 5 placement points. Getting those 7 kills is so important for them. Even if it's not the amount you might wish for them in placement. We didn't see the exact reason why they went out, but it was...
Yeah, I think a couple of them might have been stolen away at the end there. You know, maybe I'll rename them. Instead of 7 Reef, we can call them Ocean 7 at the end of the day because they kind of planned that heist at the end. And the fight went really hectic for them. I would have liked to see that in the replay, but unfortunately it happened at the same time as some of these others. I think Nox did a good job on positioning, but again, it wasn't really about that. It was about who came up with the kills at the end of the day. We will compare S&T and LND. This is a team 1st and 8th in the standings. This is actually pretty lopsided.
I mean, distance traveled is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, because they just went driving. How did they not run out of gas, by the way?
I don't know. I'm fairly certain L&D dropped down towards Villa de Mar, or...
Yeah, and then they had to go all the way across the map.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. I mean, I think they probably had to switch vehicle a couple of times, including sort of switching over to that big bus in the end there. But let's have a look at the total stands for this. Obviously, kill and damage difference is going to be massive. L&D, though, did get more damage than I expected, but Mustafa coming in here
There's
with
the
2
distance
kills.
covered. This is keeping in mind L&D were like out in 8th place, and S&T were the final chicken dinner winners. They still lost out on distance traveled because of L&D.
Yeah, pretty much. That is just ridiculous.
Oh, I love that. I love that. La Shin, he didn't get any kills this game. He actually was not quite the highlight player for his squad, but I don't think it mattered. S&T, they're good as a unit.
Yeah. I think it's quite good on that front that they actually do pick up each other's slacks, and I think they have advantages in different positions. Faker, though, getting the only 2 kills on his team, and he's definitely the better player out of all of them, but nonetheless, though, what a play. And
what a freeze frame. Hey, we're back. No, that was pretty cool stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, we got to move on from that game because it was just so ridiculous. I mean, TRD playing out of their mind with that amount of kills.
Well, the second time in a row here, and I think they're going to be disappointed that they go out in 6th place. Last time they got a 4th. This is a team that is not going to be content until they pick up in their chicken dinner. But we've got 2 Erangels up next. We talked about how Miramar could be a good map for them. I think Erangel, they have a lot more experience on.
Definitely, and I mean, if you want to see more information as to where you can actually find the scores, like, for example, if you want to see these players' stats, there is actually a place dedicated to that.
And it's right below on the screen. All you got to do is go to clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all that information. Of course, we know it's good stuff. We use it for all of our preparation as well. And in addition, if you want to catch the highlight reels of all these teams and more, go over to our YouTube channel, is youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE Esports. Don't forget to smash that subscription button and
ding dong that notification bell,
so you don't miss a single minute of the PUBG Mobile action. We're halfway through the day, and we are going to take a short break before we return with 2 Erangel maps. Don't go anywhere. More of the PUBG Mobile action will continue right after this.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
Hey everybody, welcome back once again to the PMCO, of course, the PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is the semifinals. We are 2 games down in week 2 right now, and only so many more matches to play. Tom, big surprises, I think, coming out, although one big thing headlining TRD are BACK.
They may be back, but they were not first. So, but they did get 16 kills. I'll give them props for that.
They definitely know how to frag it out.
Hikshi, where's that first place? I'm disappointed.
I want to, though, give them a little credit for this because they were basically turning into a meat grinder of other teams. One team would fight them. They'd win 4v0. Another team would fight them. They win 4v0. They were just like, hey, another, please, come back. Like, everybody wanted a piece of TRD, and nobody could do it until Ray finally mowed them down.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty much like, please, sir, may I have some more?
It's been like 20 years since I've read Oliver Twist, and I still get that reference.
Never watched it in my life or read it. So.
Dude. My English
British,
class
by the way.
was like burned into my brain. Thanks, Miss Parkhurst.
We did How to Kill a Mockingbird. So
Really? When did they make you read that?
I don't know. I don't even remember it. But either way, moving onwards, I mean, it was a really good play coming in from them. We obviously saw them down to 1 member standing. That was Hikshi. He clutched it out. It was fantastic. But let's see if they can do it again. And if S&T can remain at the top, we're going to be seeing a plane coming in from the east of Yasnaya, crossing over towards the southern side of Georgopol, covering over that hospital part. This is actually an interesting plane. It allows a lot of players to be able to, and teams rather, go to where they want to go.
Yep, this is going to be Erangel. We have 2 to play today with Groups A and B facing off against one another, of course. Only 2 more days after this to see who will be our top 16 teams in the MEA region to make it through. We'll see where everyone drops to start things off. Speaking of MEA, they are dropping very far northeast. That's Kameshki.
Kamashki, they should be able to make it.
You say tomato?
I say potato. But
which
TRD,
is fair because no one says tomato.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm really interested to see what SNT and TRD do here for the reason of the fact that they actually have fairly good loot patterns on this map. TRD did bring into the question, and they actually put it into practice last week, where they actually dropped down, picked up vehicles, and rotated over to Zaverny. They ended up winning that game. I want to see if they repeat that again.
Ooh, yeah. No, looking forward to seeing how it all goes down. A lot of teams kind of dropping a little further to the south, but looping around in a couple of places. You can see where they've all gone to. Last few stragglers to leave. You can see UN, LND moving out as well. A few teams moving on to Georgopol. It's going to be interesting to see where the circle places. Let's get a little bit of a drum roll, and it's to the southwest. This will be an interesting one.
And there's still a massive chunk of military base on it as well, so we might actually see a couple of teams try to rotate down there.
Yeah, no Novo, though.
Novo is not a good end finish, in my opinion, just the way it is.
Like it.
Oh.
Hello. We got some vehicle play already for TRD. Hikshi getting dropped out of that one right away. What the heck is going on here? He's just going to get easily finished off. It was rush to crush.
Well, they're definitely going to be doing that this game. And so this comes into practice. What happened with TRD on this front? And, I mean, I just want to mention, where are TRD at the moment on the scoreboard, man?
They are 1 point above S&T, putting them in first place. The fact that they just lost a member early on in this game is Hikshi, the one who clutch played so well for them last time around, is a pretty big blow to our top contenders as Lashin goes running away over here on the west of, oh, that's Georgopol.
I wonder who they'll find. We can't actually see that easily, but we'll have to just flick back to the fact that Hikshi is now down and out. If it wasn't for him, they would not have had last game. He clutched it out in the situation where it was in a 1v2, so got to give him praise for that, and now give praise to Rush to Crush, who might have just opened up the doors for other teams to be able to dominate the kills, not just the win, because TRD haven't actually won a game today, but they have got, I think, some of the most kills.
Yeah, they've been stacking it up quite a lot, and that's why they've got to that 220 points that we currently have them in the standings, just 1 above S&T, who were the chicken dinner winners from the last round. We do got to check in with a couple of our other teams as well, though. Kremat, you could see from IK facing off against the likes of Nox in these compounds, and it looks like there might be some teams posting up by crates, but this is just SWAT 6-9. They're not going to be facing down anyone.
Yeah, I mean, they were earlier, and they were facing against S&T, who have been running for the hills away from them. So that actually is who they were fighting. And it kind of makes sense that they were running away, because there's some good shooters on that side. Meanwhile, over towards Lipovka, not inside the circle, we are going to be seeing potentially a fight between IK and Nox.
I know who I favor in that one.
I mean, you got to give it to Nox. I mean, they've definitely got the higher firepower.
Yeah. Now, IK have had a couple of stand-up moments. We talked about it at the start of today, as they're one of those teams that's definitely looking to break in on the bubble. IK, definitely not overall one of the more powerful teams, but all the same, there is a little bit of potential there. I think I'm checking the standings a little bit. I'll talk with it in a bit because that's Kramik opening fire onto Morzy. Does find some damage. They actually are 14th, so technically, if they can retain their position, they will make it into the regional finals.
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely try to do that, but I think there's some challengers who might be knocking on the door, like 46 Loot, for example, who've done pretty good in the past, and I mean, they're still positioned in 9th, but I think if they maintain the position, then the teams lower down could push up and push them out. But let's see what goes on. TRD at the moment struggling to find a home, and they're going to be looting up what seems to be Primorsk, but I don't know if that's free. I think it is from looking there. There's no sort of name tags over there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
At least they're taking 2 different vehicles. I think the biggest shocker was the fact that they did actually just load up in one vehicle and get out of dodge early on in this game, and it just was Rush to Crush that kind of found them early. Now we check back in with this fight of IK and Nox. It does seem like we've shifted a little bit in the way the meta's played out here, whereas we used to have maybe like 3-4 fights early on, and it would kind of ramp up over the course of a game. We now have 1 at most that then basically turns into the waiting game where everybody closes in on the final circle.
Yeah, I think Vikendi is slightly different. I think there's a lot of teams that have decided the area they're going to drop. And the same on Miramar, there's a lot more space, but we'd still saw little teams sort of clashing because it's less played than other games, so it's a lot harder for them to have set places. Now, in Erangel, that is almost the same, apart from teams like IK and Nox. They both want that position in the Povka. They want to dominate that area and put their stamp on it, and because of that, we're going to be getting these early fights.
Oh, yes, we will. Not too far of a split here for the IQM members. It looks like they'll find some spots to chill over at school apartments. School proper as well. I like this development from them, that they seem to be a little bit more malleable where they will split, but maybe with 1 member as opposed to just doing 4 off in different directions, you know? Scattered to the winds here. As Morzy gets dropped down by Kramik. Nice job kind of hiding in that grass. Couldn't quite get seen. And that means that IK kind of have moved the numbers in their favor, and Nox, they might want to start making moves away. We know that they're willing to back up when they realize they're being outmatched.
Yeah, they do see the long game here, and they know that they can't really just go in for the kills early on, because it's not about the kills early game. Because if you go out in 16th place, you get 0 points, and you have to go for the kills you get. And you're very unlikely to end out in 16th place with 10 kills. Very, very unlikely. You'd have to kill a couple of, like, 3 members of a couple of teams.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
The issue for Nox here is it's hard for them to leave right now because look what's to the back of them. It's the ocean.
The ocean. But they could actually get a boat, and then they could go.
I mean, they could. IK have actually decided to split the difference as well. They have 1 driving away towards the north. That might just be to try and cut off an escape route from the Nox side.
Yeah.
So this is actually some pretty solid strategic play out of IK.
Yeah, I mean, although I do give them a little bit of, a lot of abuse in regards to the fact that they're not one of the highest performing teams, and they have disappointed me in the way they've had their shots.
You're a mean PUBG
but
dad, Tom.
I speak the truth. I want my children
Harsh
to
but fair.
grow up very well. I mean, this whole scene is a massive kind of child at the moment because it's still growing and developing at the moment, and we've seen that right now, and the whole of these metas growing just within this competition.
Well, Nox are going to have to start moving fast. The Blues closed in on top of IK as well. How much will IK dedicate to trying to stop them? A lot of bandages still here for Ben and the rest of Nox, but they are not going to be able to stay here forever.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to move away, and they do have a vehicle. How many, though? Seems like they might only have 1, and IK have got other things on their mind. They're trying to close out these guys, but I don't know how possible this is going to be. Yeah. Now, it's actually a really smart play. So he chucked it down a smoke. So he's covering up their vehicle, and now the shot's going to come in.
Here we go. It looks like that'll be the open fire as they're trying to go for it. One's going to get knocked down the rest, and they just turn it straight up into a firefight. Nox, everything goes south for them as Ben gets knocked, put 6 feet under. Kramik coming up big as Barrow takes Oralu's down, and I think that's going to be it. Nox out in 16th place.
I started to talk about it, and now I'm going to be finishing it. IK have got some of those moments where they can play very well, and this is exactly one of those moments. Strategically, I've got to give them mad props. They tried using smokes. They used the distance as well. They put Rowan above at higher ground. So when it came to it, he was able to take the shots down on them with his 4 times on his Scar, finish off a couple of members. The other guys were able to land the shots on the car and kill them. Easy peasy. Congrats to them. That was really well played.
And now they can just take the Jeep they have on their own side, get out of there as well. So it's a good start for the IK side, trying to pick up some extra points. Checking in with a couple of our other teams. You see UN here, who were the 2nd place finishers on our first map today, Vikendi. They found a vehicle over by Ferry Pier. Good positioning for them because they wanted to move for a while with that westernly circle.
The guy behind them was just dancing each side to side, and They've actually got a fancy skin for one of their UAZs. Got to give them props for that. I think TRD shouldn't be too far behind over in Primorsk, so we might be seeing them butting heads very soon. And let's have a look at the circle.
Yep,
where is it going to land, Devin?
As
Where is it going to land?
Military circle. I had my eyes set on it right now, and it looks like it's still a possibility here as AXT. That would be a tight one for sure. A hard shift would be required, but AXT are sitting on the island, and they're unopposed, so they kind of get the lion's share of all that loot.
They need to move a little bit further and closer to the bridge, and that is going to be an AWM to IQM.
Oh boy, and this is a team that does their best work when they're split up, and you can see that was just 2. I don't know who picked that up, if it was going to be Tomb or Mustafa. My money would be on Tomb, because he's been one of those players that has had clutch performances more often.
Yeah, I think Wolf is a little bit more of the sniper player, if I remember correctly, but I don't think we have any dominant snipers from them. So let's see what they do, as they might butt heads with that of UN.
Yeah, okay. Looks like Playzone's starting to deal some damage onto the IK members. They did need to make tracks after taking down Nox, and unfortunately they lose one. Here comes a couple of IQM members. UN, they're very split at the moment here on the north side of Ferry Pier. Bonimer's going to be the one in the front here as the car comes to breach on in. We'll be in for a firefight.
It's interesting.
Maybe not.
I think they're trying to bait the shots, and they've now been able to achieve that.
And now they're leaving.
And so IK actually just received a little bit of unfortunate news. One of their players had their car blown up, and that's them out. So I think IK are going to be down to 2 members now, Rowan and Bard. Or Barrow.
It does look like it, yeah. Kawan is going to be bleeding out as Kramek is already taken down. So unfortunately for IK, down to 2 members. We've seen them last a little while. I mean, who can forget that legendary play on this very map, actually, about a week ago up against the TRD members, where they actually really even the odds just with one player. But, you know, you can't always rely on that kind of thing happening.
Yeah, and Cohen's going to get finished off with blue, as you'd expect. His teammates aren't going to be able to go and pick him up. That's just going to be par and par of the course. Meanwhile, SWAT 69 in the distance there, we saw Ray's name tag for a couple of seconds. He's going to be pushing in, driving in with his team. Where are they going to go? Looks like they might going to be joining in with the fray between UN and any other teams.
Yeah, UN have a good position here, but we have seen them before not really stand out in a lot of these firefights, so they might back off. We're watching Zeus's vision right now as L&D moving on SWAT 69, and it's carnage. Moha takes a lot of damage, but Faker is trying to be the ace for the team here, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Spray down, Z8R8 managing to get it, and he gets dropped as well on the opposite side. Meanwhile, Ray still coming up with more damage onto Drugs, and that's L&D out in 15th.
I mean, to be honest, there's not really much of a competition when it comes between those two teams. Although L&D have got some fantastic shots, there's just not competition. There was actually 2 members who were down, so we're going to be seeing them recover. And there's also another car coming in to join them.
This is the difference between UN and so many of these squads. A more aggressive team, more confident in their ability to take a fight, they would have gone in there and tried to take out the weakened SWAT 69, even knowing that they're that strong of a team. But Boonemer's just keeping him in his sights. They don't want to take this fight if they can avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, this does get them a higher placement potential, but SWAT 69, we know what they're like. After they're healed up and they've looted up, they've got their next target in their sight. And
you can't hesitate.
They're not like Rush to Crush, where they just rush in. Otherwise, they'd be doing that now. They're taking in their surroundings. They're working out where they are. They're healing up. Then they're going to look to knock down one of these players and then push on that kill or knock.
And they might be able to move in onto UN. They do start to open a little bit of fire here. Might have given away their positioning, although the SWAT 69 members are fully healed up. Bunamir here on the highest level of the house. Looking for an angle, but he gets found on one himself. It was Groza with the headshot. He will be able to get rezzed up by Mimed.
And so now we're going to be seeing the closing. This is what I'm talking about. They get the knock, and as soon as they get that, they know that that's going to be 2 members pretty much out for the course.
That's a shift for sure.
Oh, okay.
I would have thought it would have gone back over towards Pachinki.
Interesting. So this is definitely going to be a mainland circle, and we're going to have to see a couple of top teams there. S&T have a member knocked out on the circle, the edge of the circle, I think, but let's jump on back into this fight.
Yeah, SWAT 69 going to clean up before they actually have to do a whole lot else. There's some people dropping across the map as well, but we'll see this breach here as Gro's looking to go in. Opens the door, Zeus opens fire, and they're just letting them spend all their bullets right now. Bunamir is going to get dropped down by Ray once again, so that top floor is starting to get cleared out as they just pre-fire looking for Zeus. And Groza makes short work of him, and now it is just going to be Master and Mim hiding out upstairs. I don't think this is going to last a lot longer, Tom.
I honestly would prefer SWAT 69 to run away, but they're going to be pushing in.
They do get one knockdown. That's going to be Mim that takes him out. However, Moha turns around and cleans him up. That's going to be it. Out in 14th place is going to be the side of UN.
Yeah, and I mean, it was really well played from both of these teams in this situation. I mean, obviously, UN going out a lot earlier than they expected is exactly what I called earlier. Unfortunately, not only did they not get the circle luck, they also didn't get the team luck. If that was Rush to Crush, I think they would have had it. Unfortunately, because it's SWAT 69, definitely one of the top teams here. I think they're in 3rd place right now. There's not really much you can do against them.
No, it's a little bit rough. I would have liked to see them take the shots early because either way the team's going to turn its sights on you. Now LTK is in a little bit of trouble here because MBZ's script is facing him down, trying to keep him from getting any closer outside the circle.
I think he's actually knocked in that situation. Yeah, so he's going to go down.
Okay.
They're still up though at the moment. TRD are going to be making these moves.
Ray opening on to the SNT side, hoping he can find a few shots, but they were just a little bit too fast for him driving away in that Humvee.
They need to start driving. This is not a point where you actually start taking these shots. You just need to get inside the circle because the circle is coming, and they're right next to it. They're actually going to be in the blue in a second, I think.
Yeah, just a bit. You can see AXT looking across this bridge as well on their own side here as they realize they're not going to be able to play on the island for much longer. Meanwhile, let's check in with 7 Reef Team. We've had a relatively quiet day so far. Going to get back into this house. Easy spot for them. We've seen them clutch in this area in the past. However, it's going to be a bit of an all-out fight here between Rush to Crush and AXT on the bridge.
Yeah, but 7T have placed themselves so fantastically in an area to be able to gatekeep all these teams.
Oh, it's going to be Rodel. He's dropped down. Nasser just easy open fire on top of him. Unfortunately for them, they're realizing that they're taking a little bit of damage on the opposite side from a few of these other squads. Control got his scopes up. As you mentioned, great positioning here over by the gas station.
He's also got that chicken gun.
Yeah. Or petrol for you British fans.
Petrol? Did
you just drop a T?
Yeah, that's part of like if you listen to Frankie talk sometimes, she says it a little bit funny, but nonetheless, let's get into it. So Lord is unfortunately going to have to try and cross over here. He's going to get taken down, and this really just gives Rush to Crush the advantage. And you know what? This is a development on Rush to Crush.
They are. They seem to be improving in this kind of out in the open play as opposed to like going for those breaches that we saw a lot earlier on. Now, that being said, Demo does get dropped down by Demon, so AXT definitely still have some teeth here. And with 70 coming in, this could be rough for Rush to Crush. However, with 2 down members, they should be able to finish these. Meanwhile, IK actually managing to find a good kill. I would have loved to see that one in a replay. However, Barrow does get taken out. That should be the end of it for IK as they go out in 13th place.
What a shame, but being able to do some damage to SNT is fantastic news for them, but the circle has shifted. Ideally, we can switch over to the map view and have a look in a moment, but we will see. Meanwhile, SWAT 69 going to be pushing up against 7T.
Holy moly right now. This is pretty impressive stuff. Let's see who ends up winning that one. I want to check it out. We need to get that shift over, but Rush to Crush are still locked in this epic battle with AXT. And here we go. It's going to be Control. Opens the fire over by the gas station, trying to hide behind this big old caravan as everybody's bloodied.
I think they may have the advantage here. Ray is going to be looking to push up, but
wrap around from 404i.
I think he might just be able to do this. He has to get a grenade in here. He has to do the work. He lays down.
No, trying for it. He's going to make them dance, but unfortunately they shoot him through. On the opposite side, it was Moha that found the shot. 70's Gambit failed.
And now Rush to Crush are going to start getting ticked down by the blue.
That's it.
We're going to be seeing Rush to Crush go out. No, sorry, it was actually
70.
Executors go out in 12th place.
Yeah, Executors go. No, they still have Demon up on this one. So it was 70 that actually get dropped down. It was almost simultaneous the way the fights went. Demon's making a run for it here, but he's facing down 4 Rush to Crush members who actually playing within the blue. Demo does get dropped down. Tupac trying to heal up with that first aid kit should be able to just barely get it.
I called it wrong. And he does manage to survive, and he has got a vehicle inside of the bottom of this building. Should be able to pick that up and drive in, but unfortunately S&T are going to be part of his journey going forward, and Demon could actually get a bit of revenge.
Yeah, he might be able to keep them out of the top 10 for sure. Rush opening up fire on the Demon from his side. Meanwhile, IQM around the ridge as well. Groza getting headshot by Hackshot from TRD. We haven't talked about them since the early stages of the game where they got vehicled. Rush does get knocked by Demon. Playzone takes out Tupac, and he was the one with the car, so Rush to Crush may be in a little trouble themselves. And I think they might have just been eliminated.
Yeah, they have. They go out in 11th place. How embarrassing for them on that front. They managed to, well, they don't manage to outplay Demon here, and he's a solid player, and he managed to get away from these guys. So he's going to be able to survive, but the blue is coming. He needs to make moves here.
TRD, SWAT 69, they're still locked in a fight here. I want to see that one in a minute. We need to shift this over because all of a sudden TRD is starting to lose members. They just get eliminated. They're out in 10th place. I want to see how that happened.
That is not going to be many kills for them, but meanwhile, Snap are going to be pushing up onto SNT. This is not a team you want to push on, but SNT are weakened right now, so they have got a good chance in. This is the kind of bug I was talking about. The door wasn't rendering properly. Now it's back.
All right, so started to calm down for just a moment here. Looks like Mustafa, he threw a nade. SMP fully healed versus SNT a little weakened. That's actually going to be the smoke that was out, but it didn't land in the compound as SMP will rotate around the side. IQM moving as well. Mustafa, that's heavy fire. He can't move. Not without being blown to high heavens there. It looks like it's Seif is full health, looking to come around. IQM, they smell some blood too. Molotov's primed. Out the window it goes. Mustafa gets knocked down by Sniper.
It wasn't a sniper, but he does get the grenade in there, and that is going to weaken SNT down to 1 player. And Captain, oh my Captain.
He got the clutch last time, but there's so many players up and alive, and the circle is going to favor them. MBZ, MEA, SWAT69, HeadHunterr, all of them are going to be coming in, and even AXT's Demon.
Yeah, and I mean, MBZ have to do a lot of work here, but meanwhile...
Oh, wait. Sif just sprayed down Mustafa. He was already down.
Yeah, okay.
That was just a finisher, but that was pretty funny.
I just saw the SNP versus the SNT, and I was like, hang on. That kind of looked like SNP versus SNP, and I was like, friendly fire's not on.
And SMGs.
Yeah, unless the grenades. But Captain still alive somehow at this point, but he'll make it into the top 8 at total, but what a surprising result.
Yeah, I think this has definitely gone a little bit haywire. Some of the teams kind of got caught in rotation here. Captain, unfortunately, he can't really leave the house at the moment, and he's just trying to play tango with a couple of grenades dancing around. And if SMP don't get him, IQF certainly will.
Yeah, and I do hope that SMP don't go too ham with their nades, because they are going to need them later on into this game, because it is going to be a bit of a snake one depending on this next shift, but it's more than likely to go towards the field area. Even if it doesn't, there's going to be a lot of need for the smokes and grenades.
Yeah.
Because most of the cover is going to be trees or nothing.
Captain actually going to try to edge out of the area. Pops down onto his belly. Shots flying. The smoke's actually being used to his advantage right now. We'll see if he can actually get out of there. And he somehow makes it to the other side of the compound.
I mean, if anyone's going to be able to do it, it might well just be him. He has obviously got a few teammates who I would say is potentially better than him, like Lashin, who has done very well in the past. But somehow,
today, though.
Yeah, no, apparently not. Captain's been the MVP of them today.
HeadHunterr third-partying this. They've come on in, but unfortunately IQM, they just turn on the heat almost immediately. Now Mustafa 99 does get dropped by the Babe. And so, well, he just gets finished. Julius as well does get turned on, though, so I think that's going to be the end of HeadHunterr. Unfortunately, they ran out of space to move.
Yeah, so they go out in 8th place. That's not so good news for them, but also good news, make it into the top 8, get a couple of points.
Better than they have been.
Yeah, now this one kill, and they've weakened the side of IQM.
SMP getting mowed down as well as Purge just opens fire onto them, and that's a headshot actually coming out onto Sif.
This is really good news for Captain. He's inside this circle, and he knows SMP are under fire.
Vehicle getting blown. Really no chance for anyone to move out of there at this point. The rest of the teams are going to be closing in, but this is, of course, on the south side of that circle. Demon's just taking cover off in the distance there, and you can see SWAT69 dealing with MEA as guns gets dropped down. SMP are going to have to move quickly, and I think Sif might actually be out of bandages. No, he's got one. He's got a few.
Yeah, I think
there he goes. Back to the first aid kit.
So meanwhile, SWAT69 are going to be taking on MEA on the other side of this hill. This is where IQM have to be very careful and remember that this is not a safe area. Yeah,
Demon finally gets dropped by Kevlos after a few shots were taken his way, so that's a 7th place finish there for AXT, but not bad all things considering. This team dropped so far away, and they had to contend up with a revitalized Rush to Crush to turn it around. MBZ losing members to SWAT69. Also no surprises there when you consider the power level between the two teams. Yeah,
I mean, this is actually a map where MBZ have done very well on in the past, and also this kind of circle, but unfortunately it seems like they are going to get slaughtered, and I think there's probably only maybe one member left standing for them at the moment. 16 alive, 6 teams in total. SMP currently getting ready to get purged.
Oh, speaking of purge, yeah, SMP turn on the heat for him, so now Tomb will have to get his teammate back up. Wolf, this is what they do best. IQM, they scatter out to the sides, but unfortunately it's a lot harder to get your teammate back up, and meanwhile Captain just trying to defend the breach here as SMP kind of moving in to take over his house.
Knock, knock, who's there?
Bandage applying. See if he can get there. Go for the pre-fire. Purge gets finished by Ray finally. Here comes the breach. Captain trying to go for it. Unfortunately, he can't do much. No, he's still up on his feet right now. Now he's down. Yeah, I got really confused there. Like, why are we still looking at Captain? He's dead. Never mind. That's a 6th place finish for SNT.
Yeah, and now we're going to be looking at IQM, the snake in the grass. And there's also going to be a vehicle here pushing through. The circles coming in. And IQM might be out for the count if they're not careful.
Wolf moving in. Will they see him, though? It's all the SMP members. He has to get up, start to mow down Sheriff. Didn't see him coming. Gets behind the tree. Unfortunately, Wolf just didn't have the damage. He just keeps on fire, and he finally gets the knock, but he's dropped down by Moha from SWAT69.
Yeah, it was DP versus DP then. Unfortunately, it's going to be proven fatal for these guys.
Moha once again on to Sniper. Just finishes the job. Doesn't stop firing until he's dead. We're down to 10 players across 5 teams here. 24 kills for SWAT69. That is beyond a record for the ME region.
insane for them. Let's move on. And it's going to be Shifa. He's going to have to push in here. He's not inside the circle, so it's going to be 2 members who are solo right now. Have to play careful. Mo, he's got Tomb's name.
Let's see if he can make it happen. Make that kill number 25. SWAT 69. How about these guys today?
Insane. They've got almost half the server's population in their kill count right now, and they might just be able to end it out with close to that exactly. MEA, the previous record holders, now go out, if I'm right in saying, in 4th place. Now we've got SMP and MBZ, the last 2 solo players left remaining for these guys to hunt down and finish.
This is just going to be an absolute slaughter to finish it off. 6-9 have everybody up and available. There's only 2 players. It's Los Kev on one side, it's Seif on the other. He tries to open fire, but he does get taken down, so we're down to just a 4-on-1. And man, SWAT 69 really upstaging everyone.
Look who it is again. This is the exact same bush, I think, that he was in before.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Man, what a callback.
Flashback to the last week coming in here. But unfortunately, he is laying down here. This is a bug. So he's trying to snake through to the package. He should get spotted. And SWAT 69 are just having the lifetime hit. They almost make that 30-kill mark.
So close, but they get themselves 29 at the end of the day. The previous record was 21. That's nuts. Ray picks up 9 kills. Z8R8 picks up 6. 11 go to Moha, the MVP by all metrics.
Absolutely insane here, guys. New record set, all other regions. Where are you? Where are you? MEA are here, and they're here to stay.
I mean, unless, like, literally today someone got 30 kills. I don't know if that would have happened. But, man, SWAT 69, we saw a little bit of them in the early stages of the game, but they came alive when they were just hunting people.
I really want to see a head-to-head at the end of this between SNP and SWAT 69. They're 2 of those sort of original teams, and SNP did fairly decently to last as long as they did. And I just want to kind of throw back to the 2 SWAT teams here. Let's go into the highlights here. There's going to be plenty of them. Yeah. Back to IK, pretty much actually dominating Nox in the end because they go away with 4 members left alive.
Yeah, good positioning, good play. We're starting to see IK really step it up when it matters. And unfortunately, though, for everyone, SWAT 69 were that much better. This was where it all started with the L&D fight. And UN were just watching on. Z8R8 jumping over the breach there, trusting his team had his back.
It's just insane. I mean, you have to think that they actually end up in the blue. They rotate, crash into petrol station or gas station, as you Americans want to call it. And they just slaughter 7T, and then they rotate again, slaughter another team, and they just hopscotch around and slaughter everyone they meet. And you know what? Props to Rush to Crush. They don't actually manage to come out better on this one, but I think this is an improvement on their style of play. A lot of times, they would have actually just rushed through the open and gone in for these frags. They didn't do it this time. They played better. Unfortunately for 7T,
SWAT 69 played a lot better.
Yeah.
It was a nice play when they tried to dive underneath the caravan, make those over under the wall plays and stuff, but that was sniffed out in a heartbeat by SWAT 69. This is a seasoned squad. Here is where this fight in the house started happening. SMP actually looked pretty good in this situation. Of course, they used their number advantage to take down Captain from SNT, ending their reign, but then, well, the chaos kind of got the better of SMP. Moha opened fire. This is where he earned so many more of his kills, and it was pretty much all over at this point.
Tomb ending up exactly where his name situates him, and this is just such an easy ending for these guys. I see the last MEA member tried to run across, tried to deny them that chance of being able to just brutalize their top score.
He grows it down. Give credit to Seif, but unfortunately there's nothing else he can do here, and that's it. 29 kills and a chicken dinner. They almost got the same number of points from kills as they did from placement.
It's insane. I mean, they're 1 point off from pretty much doing exactly that. They get, so in total, they've absolutely smashed it. What, 59 points?
Yeah, and TRD went out in 10th place that time. This is one of their worst showings today. And I think that this is going to upstage a few of the standings. We'll have to check back in how that goes. I can't wait to see it, man. That's incredible. But if you've missed any of the action up until this point of the tournament, of course, there's one place you can go to find all of that information out. It is our website down below, clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all the standings and more.
Yeah, and I mean, after this week, there's going to be so many highlights. And after every week, there is a place you can go and watch them if you do, and if you have missed any, or if you want to show you some of your friends. Yeah. So make sure to check this out our YouTube.
It is youtube.com/PUBGMobile Esports. Don't forget to smash that subscription button.
And ding-dong that notification bell.
So you don't miss a single minute of the PUBG Mobile action. We have got one more map of Erangel up next. It's going to be a good one. I cannot wait to see who takes it because it's been a great day. MEA starting off. hot. S&T coming in with a great play on Miramar. Epic finish there. And then SWAT 6-9 dominating the leaderboards with 29 kills and a chicken dinner.
Well, that's just insane. I mean, when you think of like high kills, you tend to think of, okay, they got 15 kills, that's brilliant. Occasionally we've seen it where these teams get 19 kills, 20 kills, 21 kills, and now 29 smackaroonies.
I think they got 21. No, it was MEA that got 21 before. That was the previous record holders from last week. It was also on the third map. It was also on an Erangel game. But this just blows it out of the water. And I'm pretty sure, we have to confer with all of our colleagues from today's matches, but I'm pretty sure that might set a record for all of the PMCO. That's fantastic stuff, but we will be right back after this short break. The final game of the night is Erangel. Don't go anywhere. More of the PUBG Mobile Club Open continues right after this.
See you in a bit.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
Welcome back, everybody, once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is the MEA region, and it is the semifinals. We've got one more game for you tonight, and only 2 more days to play after this. Tom, 29 kills. That's all I'm going to say.
So insane. I mean, I said it so many times earlier on, and then I kind of calmed down on it, but I am back at it again.
He's foaming at the mouth.
The Renegade Master, 29 kills. Insane. Like,
Yeah.
got to give them massive props for this. It wasn't the fact that they were messing around. They were hopscotch and jumping around, getting every one of those kills so easily from compound to open area to open bloody area.
It was insane, and it was a good circle for it as well. I think a lot of the teams, you were mentioning off screen, like, all these other squads, they're starting to catch up to the likes of TRD, to the likes of 70. In the case of 70, it seems like they're leapfrogging them.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what it really comes down to is the fact that we've seen a trend of the meta building, and I kind of discussed it when we first started casting this, going back 3 weeks, which is...
It was a very different style of gameplay back then.
Definitely. I mean, on our first game today, we saw 14 teams alive at the 20-minute mark, and then 12 teams alive at the 27-minute mark. Just completely different to before. And I mean, if you want to look at the weeks back, which I was talking about, so you can actually compare them, there is actually a website you can use, and you can see all the players, all their stats, everything.
And it is updated very, very frequently. In fact, it will have the current standings. It is a website on your screen below, clubopened.pubgmobile.com. But that's not the only place they can go, Tom. There's also a nice little channel on a little website called YouTube, you might have heard of it, that has all of our highlight reels so you can catch all of that information. Of course, if you're watching live right now, that's probably one of those places you are doing it. That website, of course, is youtube.com/PUBGMobileEsports. Don't forget to head over there, hit that subscription button, and
ding-dong that notification bell.
so you don't miss a single minute of the PUBG Mobile action. Absolutely, it has been non-stop, except in the first maybe 10 minutes of the game. But let's check in with the results from the last one, because that has got to be a record. 59 total points gained by SWAT69, half of them from placement, half of them from kills.
And I was just checking in with a couple of the other casters of the other regions, and so far, it seems like the wildcard region and the NA region haven't beaten 29 kills. So far, we're currently at the record at the moment.
Best region, just saying.
Best region.
Top region.
And they were saying, oh yeah, well, it's a top-heavy game, but no, actually, it's not, because kind of what I was talking about earlier, these teams are starting to catch up with the new meta, and teams like 70 are not scaling with it at all, and they're dropping behind.
Yeah. Let's take a look at number 1 and number 2, and this is obviously no contest, but MBZ Falcons were the second best team. We didn't even talk about them last time because it was just all about SWAT69. And here's how it all went down. Those damage numbers are ridiculous. They actually are on par with the amount of kills. So SWAT69 were not only getting those kills, they were efficient.
Yeah, I mean, it's so close on that front, and
Well,
look
that's
at
the MVP.
this.
11 kills, 1,153 damage.
That's just insane. Only one headshot, though.
Doesn't matter. He's just spraying them all down. Body armor or no.
Yeah, if he gets kills, and then, oh, look at that damage. 9 kills,
Yeah.
1,300 damage. Ray, what an OG.
I mean, normally I don't say this about members of SWAT69, but I think he punched above his weight. This guy was just all out.
Yeah, I mean, got to give them massive praise across that front. And we go to the lower end of the team, and they still do good. Groza.
Yeah, he got 3 kills for himself. I think Groza was respectable. He's had good games in other ones. Now, Dabai not in this one. We'll check out who was. But Script, of course, 1 kill, 100 damage. That is the perfect optimum kill 1 and done.
Well, you know what? This is actually the reverse airplane of last game, so let's see where this turns out going. The circle's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good path again. I mean, I say it's a good path. It's not the best, but it's almost, I think, one of the most fair ones, too.
It gives a lot of options, right? It goes west to east. It covers Yasnaya. It's right above Rozhok. I think there's a lot of places people can go except maybe the island.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues we saw last game, and it was actually from TRD, and they lost Hickshu very early on. I think this is one of the reasons why they messed up, is they asked me for specifics on how they should play and how they should drop. I didn't give that to them. I have no bias to any team. I want you guys to be able to work things out on your own.
They're all his children.
You are all my children. I love you all as equally. But the thing is, they went for vehicles, but they went for vehicles directly on the playing path. So there's things that these guys have to learn, and this time it seems like they're going back to their old tricks and heading over to Pachinki.
I'm not going to call you Daddy, by the way. Just want you to know that.
Call me Daddy.
No, it's not happening.
Daddy Weef.
No, get out of here.
Daddy Weef.
That is a weird phrase that I never thought I would hear. Let's talk about plane drop patterns, shall we? TRD, they're back to Pachinki, as you mentioned. Georgia Pool going to be occupied by iKurdTeam, and SWAT69. I don't think any team want a piece of them right now. And Nox are heading up to Severny. We've seen this before.
Yeah, and they actually do very well up there, but S&T.
Oh, actually, shooting range. Look at that circle. It's so far to the east right now.
Okay, so a lot of teams should be able to take on point what this means. No military, no sovereignty, no half the map. They should have a solid indicator where this is going to land. So if they have bad rotations, that's purely on them.
You know what I really like about this? The fact that TRD are just on the edge of the circle, on Pachinki, uncontested. Anybody runs through Pachinki, and it's going to be a free-for-all.
I think we will actually see potentially 1 or 2 teams run into them, because we've kind of seen this circle before, and it's always been that people end up crashing into Pachinki. It's on the edge. It's the halfway point for a lot of teams on the hard western side. So they tend to go for that.
Ooh,
but
L&D are actually here. I should have said not uncontested because L&D are opting to take into the fight. But
the colors are so close. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes.
Very similar. I'm definitely not colorblind, but I definitely got debated on that one. So definitely favoring TRD on this. As we saw it on Miramar, how that game went down. Even in a very weakened state, TRD looked that much better. And I would be very surprised if anything but that happens here.
Yeah, no, you're talking about colorblind. I was actually casting with a guy who was colorblind, and I didn't know he was colorblind until halfway into the cast. And I was like, he's over at that red building. He was like, I'm colorblind! So that was an interesting situation.
It's usually kind of an important thing to talk about ahead of time, for sure.
It was quite an interesting situation, a very unique one. And this is actually a bit of a unique one as well. MBZ versus Executor. They're not exactly right next to each other, but they have a chance to be able to fight. But jumping back over to Pachinki, I think we favor TRD in this situation.
If they even choose to fight it out, right? L&D could still back away. One thing we really have to keep in mind is this is the first day we've seen in this region where we finally have teams really pushing away from those early fight, early elimination actions. It doesn't come in for a couple of minutes. XT, they actually are going to be moving along in the vehicle. So is this all going to be about that rotational play?
It is, and I'm actually going to give them massive praise. They actually rotated at the almost 1 minute mark before the circle's coming in, and that is very unusual for a lot of these teams. So this is definitely a meta change in the fact that they're learning, they're adapting, and that we should be a little bit scared because this means that we're just going to be seeing improvements all the time, and they're growing a lot faster than from, say, the PC going back 2017. They're growing a lot faster than they were over the course of a single group stage and semi-final stage.
Yeah, very fast development for sure. And I think in the moment, we're seeing teams really top it up in terms of their tactics and abilities to pick up kills as well. SWAT 6-9 right on the top of that, and it looks like they will be holding out by crates.
And I just want to mention one thing. There's obviously going to be one team that makes it out of this region.
Only one. Out of all the squads, we're still on 24 teams. There's only going to be one that makes it to the global finals.
And what's really crucial about this is that he's going to be going somewhere where none of the other teams are going to be used to the same meta he is. Oh, not he is, sorry. They are. The team is.
So it's going to be one unit.
one unit, one team.
One player.
One team. One spot.
Oh, we've just gone off the loony bin edge at this point, haven't we, Tom? It's not even been a long day. I want to say it is.
It's that 29 kills that's kind of sent off.
Yeah, it kind of broke me. I feel like it did you too.
Broken man. Well, hopefully we can do a
Batman.
Batman.
You're still a happy father. I know that.
Yeah, hopefully we can do a Batman and return to the fight here. So, IK.
That was a transition.
Did a dab on the screen, but you can't see it. There we go.
Thank you for narrating that. Yes, IK.
They're so far away from the circle. They've not started rotating. We don't know if they've got any vehicles. So they might have loot, but are they going to be able to get there in time? And it looks like we're not seeing much of a fight between these two teams. They're definitely self-aware of each other. And there's actually one of the members of NT who has taken fire and has already.
Yeah, it's just going to be playing across the compound soon. Nobody going for the breaches instead, and I think L&D definitely going to be a bit scared here. We will see 7T and R2C, Rush to Crush, that is, kind of facing down each other across this one compound.
And there's actually still 64 people left alive at the 5-minute mark.
No one's died yet.
I don't think we've really seen this. I'm fairly certain always at the 5-minute mark we've had at least one person.
We have had a couple people not load into the start of the day, and that is going to be the first knock. It is Mr. 404i from 7 Reef Team. Rush to Crush. You know, again, this is more of development from this team. They're patient, they're calm, they're waiting, and they're baiting outside the windows.
It's almost like they're listening to the VODs and listening to us to talk to them.
You giving us a lot of credit? I don't know, man. Maybe these guys are just learning.
Nah.
That's
no, so, I mean, the fact that they're actually shooting at them from a distance here is a massive development. The fact that they've not just rushed across the road, which is what they would normally do in a lot of the situations.
I mean, they're good at getting up to the building. The problem is teams defend them better on the breach most of the time, and this is where Rush to Crush has started to really build their level up. Opening up Nasser on top of that building, tries to find control, doesn't get enough damage onto him.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do when you're atop the building, because if you do knock someone, and the thing is, this is good for them that they're shooting at a distance. What's not so good is that they don't actually have the next step they're all in one building, and it's very difficult for them to be able to push on a knock. We saw it last game where SWAT 6-9 knocked one of the members of UN, and they pushed. They got close to the building, they surrounded it, and finished them.
Oh, Mr. 404i is dropped down again. I thought he actually had that, but a great headshot from the Rush to Crush member. Meanwhile, TRD going to start up a fight over against LND. Traded back and forth, Faker on to Hackshot. We got to check in with Pachinki.
Pachinki soon, but you know what?
Naya first.
I think 17 needs to back away from this fight because they don't have the angles, and NASA is just locking them down from above. And, oh, as I say that, he is backing away.
Yeah, he's going to get advantage on, no problem there. But we definitely got to see what's going on with the TRD fight right now over at Pachinki, as other teams will surely be coming to join in a little bit.
Pachinki.
Is that the Summon Pachinki song?
Oh, Mishwami, I can't even do it.
What are you doing?
Trying to summon Pachinki, you know.
Well, let's talk about this fight a little bit more. Fazza opening up once again, very low on the health bars.
Zero is actually down and out for the count and has been killed.
Yeah, Hackshot going to turn it around. Here's the fight finally. We go ahead and see the smoke going to be clearing, and it's LND that look in the lead for the moment, but Hackshot's going to try to clutch things out as Needle moving in. Kevin around the side. This is a true 1v3, in fact, and it's LND that finally get cleaned up. Ooh, we were worrying for a second, but once we were able to see through the smoke, TRD cleaned house. They did lose Zero in the process.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. The ideal member to lose in that situation is actually Kevin, because it allows him to then just purely focus on his IGL role, and rather than having to focus on the fact that
you can still have a voice even when you're dead in PUBG Mobile, for sure.
And I mean, because it means that if you're down to 3, he's under more pressure to play as an actual player rather than act as a IGL. That's not what you want from an IGL. You want them to be able to make the right calls, check out the map all the time, and if they're dead, they're able to do that. But Rush to Crush, seemingly going to have a little bit of a bite back and kick back from this team.
That's Nasser. He finally gets dropped down to 7T, find a couple of shots that are true here, and it is just cross the map play. I don't think anyone's going to be interested in going for the breach early. Meanwhile, we'll check in with SMP as Thanos kind of opens up on that micro Uzi, trying to get some of the... I mean, we've seen so many of these, like, he just sprays out the window. Yeah, I'm going to find this cart. Dude, that is not the kind of gun you want for that sort of spread.
I mean, he has a VSS and a micro Uzi, both 9mm guns, and also have a massive drop-off when it comes to shooting. So you kind of have to be a little bit
He might as well
worried.
be closing his eyes and seeing if he can hit the car from that, because at that point it would be amazing. Yeah, exactly. Let's see where the circle shrinks down, if it goes back a little bit more westward, and if it is going to center on it. And it looks like we get a little further north, Tom. Mansion is going to be in play, as is Yasnaya.
This is a good area to be. I told you about this part, but let's move onwards and upwards. But 59 people left alive, 15 teams in total. SNP is still going to be in this circle, and we're going to be seeing a lot of teams have to shift up north. And there's an AWM.
That is an AWM that no one will get. Into the water it goes.
You know, we might see a couple of crazy teams. It's right next to the beach, actually.
You know, we have seen people go swimming for it in the past. You know what? Okay, hold out hope for that if you want. I don't know about it. We will check in with SMP, and yeah, we really are just seeing across the board all these teams in this top 24 really developing into their own. I want to see if this carries over to Group C tomorrow, because remember, this is just Groups A and B.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the development of these guys, it's really nice to see. And if any of you guys are listening, congrats. Even if you don't go through to the next stage, and even if you don't get the one spot, you are developing as a player. Carry on. I think pretty much everyone in this tournament can do that. There's a couple of teams that do need to go above and beyond to be able to improve. Not going to say names, but you know who you are. If you're at the bottom of the standings, do better, basically.
But disappointed dad strikes.
Exactly, but also we discussed. I mean, this is very much a top-heavy scoreboard. In the fact that you have to get first place to get that 30 points. And this is something that we saw very early on in PUBG PC. It's something that we've now moved away from, and you get less points for getting that first place, and it makes all the difference.
I think it's also worth noting, though, that global finals, that one team representative that will represent this region going forward, that's still a ways away, right? We also still have the regional finals to contend with, and I think that's the more immediate concern for most of these teams. You just need to be in the top 16. A lot of them are in a lot safer position, but it's those teams that are in the bubble zone that we're really looking at. This is the likes of LND, who honestly I wanted to commend for some of the way they've been playing out in the past couple of weeks. Problem is, they're one of the teams that is still choosing to pick fights with the likes of TRD early game. Why are you doing this? There's so many places to go that aren't called Pachinki.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for them, it's quite hard to count because they're probably like, okay, TLD haven't been going to Pachinki. Let's take it. Because actually, last game they didn't go. The game before that, they didn't go to Pachinki. And the game before that, they also didn't go to Pachinki because they went to Vikendi last week. So the fact is they probably reviewed the VODs and they're like, okay, Pachinki is actually probably open this time round because AM aren't here. So they can probably take it.
But why not just why not just give it up when you see there's somebody facing down? Now, they might not have known it was going to be TRD, sure, but after a certain amount of time, you got to figure, all right, these guys are actually pretty legit. We're going to move. Some of the other teams on the bubble, of course, SMP, they've had a better game today. Definitely want to give them some credit, finding a nice spot for themselves here that they've been able to hold out in.
Yeah, I mean, they're about 10 points behind the 16th position, which is a big difference when it comes to these sort of bottom, lower tier teams as it is. And we can see a lot of teams very close together, sort of below that as well. So there's a collective of teams that really just need to do that a little bit better. But some of these teams, like, for example, JS just survived. They're actually down in 20th position, but they've only got 8 games played, so they've got another 4 games coming up tomorrow.
They had a great end to last week where they started getting, like, second-place finishes, stacking it up. They were another survivalist squad, kind of like HeadHunterr, but a little bit more accurate on the fire. And HeadHunterr had a decent game today, just one, though. And we'll see if they're able to do a little bit more here as they do go driving off into the distance, but SMP way too far away to really see them. It is going to be a bit of a quiet time, Tom. All quiet on the Western Front. 12.5 minutes on the clock right now. And we will see the next circle going north. This favors MEA. This favors MBZ. Even the IK members are going to be happy with this one, but this is going to be a very open end to the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to potentially even move out of this situation. Rush to Crush. Look to take the first shots, though.
Looks like that will be Mr. 404i getting knocked again. It just happens back and forth. Nasser, meanwhile, didn't realize Reef was on top of him until it was almost too late, but somehow he doesn't get knocked down. Yeah,
that was actually going to be his third knock, so he has to be careful. So this is over towards Yaznaya at the moment on the left-hand side of it. So it's going to be a very interesting one here. So the circle has shifted over towards the water here, away from Yaznaya, into a kind of very difficult open area.
Speaking of difficult open area, Rush to Crush are going to have to leg it right now, and there's just a hail of bullets coming their way from the 7 Reef team. It's Reef wrapped around, finishes off Nasser. That's going to make it a 3v4. Rush getting knocked down. I think this is it. This is 7T coming back into their own, Tom.
They've been outplayed multiple times, and this is...
Outplayed themselves! Saw that nade going the wrong way, Fazza. He's trying to fire up to the top side, but nobody's there. Everybody saw that, buddy. Sorry.
He's just panicking. He's like, oh, shoot, I'm shooting at something. I'm shooting at something. Even though he just pretty much messed up. It didn't really matter. Whatever. Let's move on from that. So
we got a couple fights going on with TRD right now. MEA are actually finding them. That's going to be a couple of knocks on the Hixie. We got to move over there in just a moment. What the heck's going on?
Yeah, and this is actually Demond here. I just want to say this right now. He's a stand-in, so we've not really seen him play for them before, so this is an interesting situation.
Rush to Crush, moving in, looking for a little bit more, and I think that is going to be almost the end of Rush to Crush. It is just going to be on to Tupac right now.
Yeah, and I mean, he can definitely survive here. He hasn't in the past, as we well know, but he might well be able to go into this one. I really want to switch on over towards SWAT 69 because they're taking on MBZ right now, but...
MBZ looks like they're dropping. Moment Moha managing to get down and take out Script as well. We got to check in with that fight over at Yaznaya. We see the end of this one, but it is going to be Tupac just running away for the time being. Ray takes out Los Kev. We got to move over there. The fight's going to end pretty soon. And it's not the only one happening. Groza on Red Bull. Meanwhile, here is that. Yeah, and so it looks like it is going to be the end of the fight. A couple teams, they died.
Better sometime than never, I guess. So we're going to be seeing them revive them. So they had 2 members who were down. HeadHunterrs quickly swerve away from this. They kind of realize that, hang on a minute, this is going to be, what, 69?
SMP going to start losing members to UN as well because UN just superior on the firefight. It looks like Sheriff will be the last one standing on that side. Oh, excuse me, Seif has gotten away, which means Sheriff is going to get finished off pretty soon. UN, they're going to own this house. Meanwhile, we can see Clown from AXT off in the distance as well as HeadHunterr moving in. This is where the teams just start to crash, and it's all sorts of chaos. Dr. Savage taken out by Clown. Ray opening fire massively here on to the HeadHunterr side. Doesn't manage to get the kills, but they are very confident in their ability to take these fights. Where is the rest of AXT?
Who knows, but HeadHunterr's still got 3 members standing right now, so they have got an interesting situation, but they've got SWAT 69 behind them who will be able to take them down potentially, but Clown
is down. And he must have teammates, otherwise he would fade into dust.
A down Clown is kind of the usual spirit of a clown, but where are they?
Yeah.
They are
okay, so this is a split. This is a split play. Galiko kind of guarding nearby the rest of AXT. It looks like, meanwhile, you can see where Tupac, where the rest of that fight had gone down as the circle shifting east of Yaznaya, as we mentioned.
So 7T is still in Yaznaya in the blue. TRD, I think they've got, what, 1 member standing at the moment?
Yeah, and here's S&T as well. They've got 3 members up for themselves.
Oh.
Captain, yeah, a little bit better on those angles here, but this is a tight place to be stuck in.
Yeah, we actually call this building Grannies. Can't remember exactly why, but
It's fairly self-explanatory.
just the way it is.
Well,
so
if anyone tries to breach, they might find a big bad wolf upstairs.
Exactly. Well, Nox are the sometimes masters of breaching, but SNT are another team to mess with.
Yeah, we talk all the time about how they're willing to cede ground and kind of find a better spot to go for, but what happens in this situation where you kind of need to take a compound because it's going to give you such a huge advantage? Unfortunately, they are tangoing with the likes of SNT, and that ain't easy. Meanwhile, it looks like Hackshot opening up onto Ray manages to find the down. It's turned around for him, so SWAT 69 and TRD are fighting out, and that has got to be absolutely epic. But so is this other fight with Nox and SNT. It's just a slower one. Groza opening up. We'll move back over here.
I think that was actually, was that TRD going out in 13th place? We'll have to see.
Not entirely sure. It looks like there is a down onto Glico right now by Captain. The headshot from him. He's been the savior for this team 100% of the way. He's definitely not the only one on it, but when push comes to shove, he knows how to last the longest. Groza opening up shots. Yeah, I think TRD might have actually dropped out of this one. We didn't catch the end of that action.
I think there was two of them inside the little shed there, and unfortunately they got pushed by SWAT 69, who have already got 7 kills, and there's still 38 people left alive. If you discount them, there's going to be a total of 38 people standing that they have a chance to kill.
Lushin does get dropped down, taken out by Morsey, so Nox definitely still have a bit of a bite to themselves. Groza, Moha opening up on the opposite side. It's kind of a battle royale. True to the name of the game, for sure. Captain getting dropped down, but he does take Morsey out. Kind of a blaze of glory there. As SNT didn't have too many places to go, Mustafa gets back down on his belly. Let's see if he can make anything happen. The rest of the team, Nox moving forward.
They've just been crashed. So they're actually going to be under fire from another team pushing up next to them in a moment. So I thought they'd been pushed a little bit hard, but no. So Nox have to be careful. They are going to be able to revive, but this is not looking so good for either one of these teams.
Yeah, the Battle of Grannies is definitely going to go down. It's not a great one for either combatant at the moment. Groza, a great position inside this compound. He can just pick and choose his targets. The car gets blown. Headhunters, they have nowhere to go but on foot right now. And you can see even IQM in the distance. Great positioning for Groza and the crew.
Yeah, this is just insane from SWAT 69. They're just proving they're back
They've already
in
got 7
action.
kills again. After breaking records, they're doing it again. Fazah from 17 manages to take out Tupac, which will be the end of Rush to Crush in 12th place.
I think they're going to have some of the highest damage as well. I don't know if they're the highest kill so far in the game, but this is still high for them, and they've spotted out Darkos.
SNT take the shot. Groza puts another one into the chamber here, and it looks like they're going to be going for more. We'll see where the circle crashes in.
Circle going to be coming in. This is going to be determining potentially the winner. And
oh boy, SWAT 69, S&T, and 7T are the only teams inside it right now. There's a care package dropping just to the outside. S&T throwing some smokes because they are very weakened.
Instead of throwing shade, they decided to throw down that smoke because they need to recover and they need to do it fast because even though they're inside the circle, they need to strengthen up, bulking up in this actually really strong position they've got. They've got height, they've got cover, and they've got 3 members standing.
Looks like Nox lost everybody there while the circle was shrinking in. So that's down to 10 teams. We have 32 alive. Exactly half the server is still in this game.
That's insane. I mean, it does actually mean there's a couple of members lost here on a couple of teams. But
249.
Yeah, that's actually outside the circle as well, right next to one of the teams. I think that's MEA, actually, who number 17.
They're going to be coming up pretty soon to pick that one up if they can. S&T only lost Lashin.
Yeah, so 17 is shooting over towards Executor, if I'm right saying. Actually, no, it's UN they're fighting right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a couple of downs coming through. Moha does manage to find yet another one, this time onto Headhunters. Mr. Relax. Master dies, looks like just outside the zone, and that should be the elimination. UN lose everybody, and they're out in 10th.
That's a little bit unfortunate, and you know what? I don't actually expect too much from Executor here, and now
Headhunters. Headhunters, they're going to finally lose their lives. It felt like it was only a matter of time.
That was all SWAT 69.
Yep,
they're now 10 kills.
Oh, well, out in 9th place. Meanwhile, it looks like SMP might have lost it after that.
Insane here coming out from these guys.
They're doing it with a man down, like without Ray. Obviously, Ray's been a stand-up performer, but by no means the only one here. And it's just an absolute field day for SWAT 69. They can open fire on everyone.
Execute just crashed into a compound that is far superior to that of SWAT 69. So this is an interesting situation. And MEA somehow cheekily grabbing this gun.
Oh boy, that's Falastine too. We've definitely seen him step up when it counts. MEA, it's been a quieter match because we've been focusing on everybody else, but they still have all 4 of their members remaining. IQM playing together for a change, doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, we're 20 minutes in, or 21 minutes in, and we're down to 24 alive, 7 teams. If you compare that to the Vikendi, this is night and day. Completely different play styles right now. IQM, they're playing together as a team. Let's see if they can actually perform here. They've not really been able to do too well as a team before. They've done okay, but they've never really done fantastic. So let's see if they can pull it out of the bag this time.
Definitely managing to stay alive still with 3 here. And even Narcos getting the spray down onto a Juan from IK as they try to breach into their compound. You can see Hoger getting dropped as well by MEA Zabas. Rosa, it's just a machine gun coming out from inside the house. He's just making it look too easy. Hoger should get dropped down with ease right now. It's just padding those stats right now. Groza getting the final blow, adding to the kill score for SWAT 6-9. Guns and a boss drop down by, looks like, a couple of members of IQM. MEA are actually out of there. That's a 7th place finish.
That is insane. I thought they were going to be able to do better than that. 70 crashed into a new compound. The circle has shifted away from them.
Captain opening up. Both the 69 clan tags really going at it with all the other teams remaining here on this side. They're definitely not on the same side, but they're finding that they can find just about everybody else here. 6 teams remaining, 17 players alive. Circle closed in, 22 minutes have passed.
So few players left, 17 in the circle. It's still quite big, but after this is shrunk, it will be so small. There'll be no place to hide. So after
Not from Groza or any of the SWAT 6-9 members for sure.
They have to push against these guys, and they don't have the advantage in regards to sight lines or anything. I don't even know if they have a vehicle that works anymore. So
yeah, most of the vehicles just been blown. Here's the smoke out. I think this is where SWAT 6-9 realizes they can no longer stay in this compound. So they do have a vehicle, and they're all popping in. They're going. This is very dangerous right now. Let's see if they actually manage to stay alive. All 3 inside. Groza taken low, and they've gotten away.
Somehow they've made up a 7T going into the wolf's mouth.
Let's see if they can make the play as well. They crash in, control, immediately getting headshot by Purge as the game begins. Mr. 404i turns it around, back onto him. Fazad dropped down. It looks like this is going indecisive at the moment. Wolf is going to be the last man standing. No, Mustafa's along the way. It's another team crashing in. What is this chaos right now? SWAT 6-9 out of nowhere.
SWAT 69 saying, hey, those are our kills. They want to join in, and they are going to be able to try and wipe IQM. 1 member standing, and that's Mustafa.
Z8RT, though, and Groza going to be very weakened. The only 2 remaining members of SWAT 6-9. Mustafa realizes he can't peek from here, but the blue will be coming in for him. Heal up Groza, back up to most of his health bar. We're down to 5 teams, 12 players. Grenade's coming.
Yeah, Grenade did no damage. They're going to have to push out, and Mustafa...
He tries to open fire. ZBR8. Oh, he's taken so low, but he does manage to stay alive and actually getting downed. Is this going to be the chance to make the outplay? Groza trying to turn on the heat right now, but meanwhile, Narcos from the backside. Mustafa will go down. That's going to be a 5th place finish for IQM.
SWAT 69 already have 16 kills, but SNT only 5, but they're going to be able to try and close this out. But I just don't think SWAT 69 can. They've still got a chance here, but Executors finally alive in the top 5 here once again, and there's going to be a package dropping, I think, almost central here, actually right above SNT.
That is going to be quite a lot of temptation coming through. So, Z8R8 looks like the last man standing for SWAT 6-9. SNT still have 3. No, Groza is still up. Okay, so there's still 2 in this.
Yeah, so they weren't able to pick up Moa there, which is fine, a little bit unfortunate. And this package, instead of just creating an opportunity to pick up loot, that's actually extra cover for them to be able to switch on over to if they really wanted to. But they need to pick up the smokes, and they have to drop them through. And they also need to make sure they're fully medded up here. And look at his vest here. You can see it's almost broken. The red on it is at the very top, so they have to be very careful here.
Yeah, Groza's great at shooting, but he needs a little bit more cover for himself. AXT are snaking their way forward into this next circle very slowly. IK still with that single player remaining. It's Kramik that's been running for it consistently since he lost his teammates all those minutes ago. And this is just going to be a crazy finish, I think, Tom.
I mean, IK, they've constantly now, I think they've surprised me today. They've done a lot better than I would have thought. So they've done some decent placements. And now
I can. Absolutely. Narcos. Groza finding the fire, looking for more, and Narcos knows he's caught. He can't peek from the rock.
That was level 3 helmet. If he didn't have that, he would have been down, and that would have been SNT.
ZR8, though, is going to get down. That's going to be Captain that turns it on. A little bit of revenge back and forth. Mustafa opening up onto Groza. He's trying to make a run to get his teammate back up. That's going to be not an easy task there. ZR8 really went far forward. Narcos getting knocked by Groza and turned in kind. Mustafa chucking nades out to try and get some cover so he can heal his teammate up. This might very well be a battle of the clan tags.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing Groza trying to cross.
That's it! SWAT 6-9 knocked out in this one. What a play by Captain.
And now we've got the Snakes of Executor. They've got 3 members versus, I think, maybe even 4 members.
There's only 2 teams left, which means Kramik has gone out in this one. I didn't see when it happened, if it was before or after SWAT 6-9.
I think it was before, so I think he must have gone out in 4th place. I'm fairly certain on that one.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it when it comes down to it at the end of the standings, but it's all down to AXT and SNT. Executor versus the last remaining 69 SWAT, formerly named, as it were.
Yeah, and I mean, Execute actually have two different positions they're holding here. They've got a 2-1 situation. So this is actually going to allow them to cause a little bit of confusion because they're all gathered together. But Executor aren't. So they're going to be able to fire on them and cause a little bit of distraction.
And this is where Executor's tactics really come into play here, where S&T are also really good at that, but they're way better in a straight-up 4v4 situation where there isn't too much split. This open circle, we've had so many of these finishes today.
Let's see what they're going to be able to accomplish here. Hopefully, they do have some more nades. Yeah,
I mean, even numbers.
Equal fight. I mean, actually, Executors have the advantage on health.
That they do. That's the biggest difference right now. But rarely do we get an end that is this close. Nades coming through. Narcos getting dropped down by Palat.
That is the guy on the right. This causes confusion. The push is coming on the left.
It's going to be Demon. Does he have enough damage in the tank? Captain's going to get knocked down, and this is going to be the win for AXT. It looks like Mustafa running forward, but he just can't do it fast enough. Executor taking the victory.
GG, well played. Them going to be able to walk away with 5 kills in first place. Meanwhile, S&T walking away with 7 in second. And then Groza and on SWAT 69 going to be able to pick up a massive 16 kills in third place. Not as good as the 29 they got last game, but still third place. Extra 16 points. That is insane.
It really is, man, and things have started to turn in favor of these other squads. We've had a different chicken dinner winner every single time. S&T had a real chance of picking up 2 in a row, or 2 today. First on that Miramar, and then again in this final Erangel. But at the end of the day, AXT really showed up when it counted. And we've seen them do this on these open area Erangel finishes before, where they do fan out and have an excellent spray of fire.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes down to it, the pressure mounted on top of them, they managed to do a split. They did a fantastic tactic. I can't fault them for it. Let's have a look at the highlights here, and there's going to be some really nice ones. Look at that shot.
There were so many times we had one knock back and forth, and Rush to Crush finally had to leave, and this is where 7T come in. Remember, they ended up placing 6, so not a bad finish for them, all things considered. They're still living up to some of those expectations, but not nearly as much as we come to expect before. This is where they finished the fight here, and then I actually thought, oh, where are the rest of AXT? Maybe they've all died. No, Clown was just sitting there on the outside and actually managed to keep HeadHunterrs busy for quite a while. Yeah,
so it was actually a perfect distraction in the long term. And also just a little bit of extra information so they could know where they could go and where they couldn't. So they ended up just avoiding the whole area in the end and went for a risky push. Nox, meanwhile, doing the exact same against S&T.
Weakened them quite a little bit, but S&T definitely stood up where it counted. Mustafa obviously was able to get in here, get the finisher, get his teammate back up on his feet. And we saw what happened next. And this is where this whole area turned into a shooting range. Groza was lighting them up left and right.
Yeah, and obviously, to be honest, the biggest mistake that happened in this game was SWAT 69. They were playing fantastic, but they let Executor get inside that compound, which then led to them winning.
Yeah, and they got a little preoccupied, I think, trying to finish off Mustafa 99 here, obviously, letting Z8R8 get down. Groza opens up another fire. Unfortunately, S&T just that much stronger at this point. As you mentioned, his body armor nearly spent, his vest just almost out of it. And here was that final fight here around the side. Smokes down, good plays from S&T. But unfortunately, they go running because everybody had already been dropped. AXT, great play for them. We'll see where they end up placing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, what fantastic results for all these teams today. I have to say, every single team we've seen today has improved since day one and throughout the whole group stage.
All 16 teams, actually. I think I have to give them all some level of credit. Obviously, like, L&D maybe, like, didn't have the greatest day because they took a lot of early fights. However, they still played well. And look at this. Despite the chicken dinner difference, Executor tie with SWAT 69 on points because of the 16 freaking frags, man.
That's the first time we've actually seen that happen, especially as the fact that SWAT 69, they came third. They didn't come second here, so they didn't get as many points.
I feel like if you're a team named Executor and you get less than a third the frags of the next team, you need to consider changing your name.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit disappointing there, but S&T coming in there in third place over 1 points, really good job from them. But let's have a look at head-to-head Executor versus SWAT 69.
Obviously, SWAT 69, even though they got the third place, they still were insane on the damage. They actually were more than efficient in saying that because they only had 1344, yet still managed to pick up 16 kills. So that tells me they were definitely finishing off people.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing you have to do if you want to be able to get those extra points, and they managed to achieve that.
Groza only got 3 kills. But that kind of surprises me, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little bit less than last time. I can't really fault them for that.
It's kind of hard to get that number twice in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite efficient as well, but look at that distance traveled, 11.1k. That is very far.
Running and gunning, man. That's what SWAT 6-9 were doing really well this game. Demon, of course, having a decent game for himself. We'll check in with Clown. He was the one who split off for the team, so not quite as much distance or damage.
I mean,
and then, of course, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys died early on in their team.
That's true, yeah, Ray
So
did.
they still played a really big part in being able to get at least 1 or 2 kills for their team and a decent amount of damage, and they played that part. So I think really well played to both these guys, playing equally almost in this point when it comes to it. So fair play to Clown, fair play to Ray. Next pairing, let's have a look at those guys.
Looks like it'll come up in just a minute. But, yeah, I think that's where we'll start to see a lot of those kills happen. Now, I guess we're not going to see it at the end of the day. But still, good playing. Overall, from SWAT 6-9, I am so impressed with not just the tactical play, the bloodthirstiness that they demonstrated. That was great. I'm actually more surprised than anything that we didn't see more than one chicken dinner from any individual team. But, of course, if you missed any of the chicken dinners today or any of the action so far at this tournament, there's a place you can go to check the results in real time. It is down at the bottom of your screen, and it is called clubopen.pubgmobile.com. So make sure you type that in your URL bar. Now, that one's up there, by the way.
Yeah, and I mean, you may have seen it live, you may have not have, but there's some fantastic highlights from ZA. 29 kills, insane. If you want to watch them,
great one.
It's the one place to go.
We won't tell you where it happened because that would be spoilers, and that is where you go over to youtube.com/PUBG Mobile Esports. Don't forget to smash that subscription button and
ding dong that notification bell.
Never get tired of hearing those dulcet tones out of you, Tom. And I think it has been an absolutely wonderful day of PUBG Mobile, especially here for the MEA region. That is day 1 in the books here for week 2 of the semifinals. We got 2 more to go, but we will see you this time tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Be there or be square. Good night.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
PUBG Mobile for free.